What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me on this Wednesday, October 11th, 2023, year of our Lord. What's going on, friends and family? Y'all ready to get cooking today? Isn't Jada Pinkett the gift that keeps on giving? Nothing like a messy woman. I am absolutely, positively ecstatic when this came across my desk, courtesy of the people. Shout out to y'all. When this came across my desk less than an hour ago, I said, we're going to pivot and we're going to make an adjustment. And we're definitely going to have this conversation based off of what's going on in society. Now, one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. I seen somebody say Anton is always going to be late. You got to consider the circumstances. I got to make sure that I'm properly prepared with all of the information necessary in order to come to you guys today to have this conversation about what is going on with Jada, now going by Jada Pinkett instead of Jada Will Smith Pinkett Jr. But we're going to mine out everything. And more importantly, we're going to figure out where it comes back to the money. Because I don't really care about whether or not Jada Pinkett or Will Smith and all of this other type of stuff is happening. I'm more concerned with how do we look at this from a business perspective. I am more concerned with teaching you guys to follow the money. When you make an adjustment when it comes to your life, corporate America, relationships, content creation, real estate, gossip, popular culture, whatever it is that we do, it has to come back down to the money. And nothing is more profitable or more giving than a celebrity, especially a female celebrity, deciding that she wants to fumble the legacy and the bag of her man and her husband. So we're going to get to that. Also on the show today, we're going to talk about angry comments. We want to talk about the United States and Israel and Hamas. It's going to be good. We want to go over to New York and bring them to the front of the congregation. Chicago is definitely coming to the front of the congregation. But before we get into all of that, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe if you have not already. Shout out to my people on Facebook. Shout out to my people on YouTube. Also, on top of that, get into that Tej Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Ladies, if your man does not have that Tej Henley, if your man does not, in the words of the Peace and Pan-Africanism, Umar Johnson, 3 times Umar Johnson, if your man does not have that Tej Henley, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Order that Teach Hanley today, 30% off the first order plus a free gift. Also, link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you're not a bag chaser, don't sit here talking to me about Anton. I need to get my life together and all of that. It's so many gems. Plus, we're going to be meeting up. We meet up on a regular basis. I'm going on tour next year. We meeting up in D.C. on November 4th. We also doing the Fund Your Business series where I'm going to be giving y'all grant money in order to get y'all stuff off the ground and get it popping. We running it up. So make sure that y'all tapped in. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Also share this with your family and friends. And tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so let's get to the thick of things and start getting into it. Before we do so, I got to give an acknowledgement to everybody that support the platform. First and foremost, let me give a round of applause for my dog, Mike, that dude that support me on Cash App. Got some new graphics that I'm working on in order to acknowledge the Cash Appers in the building. Also, I want to give a special acknowledgement to the early super chatters. Let me give an acknowledgement to Morden Mello. What up, Morden Mello? Says, after failing years ago, I'll be receiving my liberal arts and communication and in math and science. I'm also pursuing a third, is that an associate's in computer science while I do my AWS cert on my way to becoming a blue hat hacker. Shout out to the bag chasers and the people that's running it up. We love it. We love it when you level up. We love it when you get more money, and make sure that you're not taking on debt, an extraordinary amount of debt in order to do so. Shout out to you. Miss Crow T. Shetty is in the building. Said, I'm going to drop this inside of the collection plate. Thank you, Miss Crow T. Shetty. I really, really appreciate you. Miss Lady J in the building. Thank you, Miss Lady J. Thank you for holding us down over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. The Wealth Building Journey. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey. Says Will Smith crashed out at the Academy Awards for a decade for Jada, and now she's leaving him. Who could have seen this one coming? Did we not all predict this? But we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Shout out to Will Smith for marrying a chick for the streets. This is why you don't marry a chick for the streets. Don't worry, we're going to mine this out all day. Jada is the gift that keeps on giving. P. Shank is in the building, says, Mr. Anton Daniels, good morning. Thank you, P. Shank. I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. It has been a great money. Next Level sent that fireball on Cash App. Thank you, Next Level. Thank you, Next Level, for holding me down. I appreciate you. Before we get into the Jada and Will Smith conversation, so that is coming up next. There's some things that I want to address. And what I'm trying to figure out for the life of me is, why are y'all mad at men having standards? Before we get into this whole Jada's going on a world tour, releasing a book and doing an interview and exposing all of the family business, what I'm trying to understand is, why are y'all mad at men having standards? Exhibit A. Let me give you an example. I wake up this morning and the first thing I see is people tagging me and sending me all of these posts on Instagram of On Site. And I said, well, On Site is one of those spiritual worlds type of sites, whatever, so on and so forth. They said, no. You on there. And I said, where? I said, tag me. They said, okay. Real Life Street Stars, I did an interview with them, and then I went over there and I'm having this conversation, right? And so I'm up there. And I basically said that if she cheats, she's for the streets, because it's very difficult for you to take a woman back after she's emotionally connected to another man. That's not anything new that I've been saying. But apparently I'm tapping into a new audience, and so a lot of people do the same thing. You know that women do what they do. They're going to say, who hurt you? Mama must have did a number on you. Women, whoever that woman is that broke your heart, make sure that you get some resolve and all of this other type of stuff. He must be gay. I know he not married. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they make themselves seem like fools, whole fools, not half fools, but whole fools as a result of it. And so I've largely found this to be amusing because it always stokes the conversation. And so as a result, I want to go through and I want to see what the sentiment of the people is. And so, of course, there's a lot of people that say, well, he kind of right. And there's a lot of other people that say, yeah, Anton is cooking as usual, right? I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. And then, of course, I want to go and see what the number one comment is. And so when I go to that number one comment and I see it, And I say, okay, Q Beauty. That's her name with 2 I's. Q. Shout out to my girl Sherelle holding me down as usual. Q Beauty is the #1 commenter with 992 likes. And she said the same men whose mothers were for the streets. Next caller. Isn't that crazy? The first thing that you do is not to substantiate the argument, not to debate what it is that I'm saying, not to actually prove me wrong or speak to exactly what I spoke to. It's to attack my mother, my beautiful, sweet, married for like 40 years into the untimely demise of my mother that did not have children out of wedlocks and was one of the most phenomenal, God-fearing, praying, disciplined her son's mothers that I've ever seen in my entire life that submits to me today, that I take care of dearly, is to say something about a man's mother. And so I'm not offended. You know, y'all met my mama before. She didn't came on a live stream. She's fit, feminine, and friendly. And she's definitely remarried a few years after my father passed to a man that is very similar to my father. So, you know, hit dogs is not really looking to holler. We just looking to raise the roof, you know what I'm saying, on them. Make sure that we put them in a dog pound, call the animal control and get them neutered, you know? But I don't want to stop there. I always try to figure out, well, who is Q Booty? Feeling on your booty, your booty. I know it's supposed to say beauty, but you know us, we something different. So I said, well, let me go out and see who Q Beauty is. Let me see who this beautiful queen. Oh, got the money right there. All right. So this is Q, the beautiful. Got her page back. Rest in peace, Granny. Rest in peace, Shanice. All right, cool. I got you. So I want to see who this woman is. Who are these people, Harpo, that decide that they want to hold Anton to a higher standard than they hold themselves? And now my whole life is an open book, so I'm just curious, and I want to know, what is the sign language? Who are these people that are quick to talk about your mother that is not true, or your wife that is not true, or your family that is not true, or your financial circumstances that's not true? I'm always curious. And so, up. And this, ladies and gentlemen, are the people that are, because usually on YouTube is some profile, some hidden profile, or somebody with just an avatar of a letter on it, and they didn't necessarily upload nothing, so we can't really see who it is that they are. But this is your neighborhood Spider-Man, ladies and gentlemen, that decides that they want to have a conversation and criticize you and talk negatively about what it is that you're doing. Her very first picture, and it's pinned, right? This is her. Built like a sandbag. Got the same Rihanna tattoo that every other woman got, you know, but she got it on her leg. It actually looked like a tribal tattoo when you stretch it out a little bit. Hair for the streets. Typical same picture that we've been seeing women take since the iPhone came out. The picture that's in the mirror. This is the one that's pinned. Neighborhood friendly Spider-Man claws, right? Flat back. Doing no squats, skipping leg day. And these are the type of women that say that they find auntie getting older, y'all, I'm worthy to even have a conversation with Anton in the first place. Okay, well, maybe that's a bad one. Filters, need to get that shaved a little bit. Toe up from the flow up. Butterfly eyelashes, tons of filter, tons of makeup, and have the nerve to sit here and have a conversation about who Anton is and what my mother did to me when I was younger. All right, well, let's continue to go down. Feeling on your booty, your booty. Look at these chicks, look at them. They expose everything. They have no kind of decorum whatsoever. They for the streets, Everybody can see what it is that they got available. Oh, wait a minute. Typical. Honda Accord, taking it from the back, got the Jordans on, scratching out their license plate like somebody cared, and she just so happened to be from New York. Listen, man. Listen. Look at her caption. Your boy tried to F me over, thought we was homies. Guess he was a HOE when I say my homies. Look at this strag with the tattoo right on her neck. Different picture, different person every single time. Got a new wig on. Is going to sit here and tell you about how it is that you're supposed to be operating within your relationship. And she's sitting in her mama kitchen talking about what it is that you can and can't do. Why? Why do you want to do? Occasionally, I'm going to have to start bringing the local struggle bandits, y'all the real bandits, the local strugglers, to the front of the congregation that's taking pictures in their grandmama crib, having a conversation about what it is that I can and can't do. Amazing. I'm just always amazed that y'all have something to say and y'all feel comfortable having a conversation about me and my mother. Fam, why? Why do y'all do this? But I don't just want to have this conversation in a vacuum. I found a canary in the coal mine. Before we get over to the Jada Pinkett, we going over there shortly. I'm going to be reading your super chat shortly, the canary in the coal mine. I did not think that it would happen in 2023. I didn't think any of y'all was even on Instagram, the canaries. Aside from y'all over here at the Millionaire Morning Show and my bag chasers, you know I love y'all. But I found the canary in the coal mine, right? And I dropped it on my other channel this morning, but let me give you an example of what the canary looks like. This is the canary in the coal mine.
Yes.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
Why haven't you done the deed yet?
The key to a strong society is family. And so, in my view, choosing my future husband is like the most important decision I'll ever make. And I'm somebody that I know my heart, and I know that I fall really hard when I meet somebody. So I want to retain some level of objectivity when I'm selecting a future partner. And I know that if I had sex with them, I would be completely imprinted on them. And instead of being like, okay, is this person, do they have the qualities that I'm looking for in a husband, or am I just making it work instead of like seeing red flags and leaving?
Is there any reason why you're dressed so modestly instead of revealing like most women tend to do when they come out to Miami?
I mean, this is just my personal sense of style. I just think it's respectful to others and to my future partner, and to myself, to just cover myself up more. I know.
Let me back up for a minute. I think y'all missed the very first part when she very first started speaking. Are you a virgin? That was the very first question that he asked her.
You're a virgin?
Yes.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
And she was able to pronounce 21 correctly. And she's dressed like a normal person, and she believes that it's respectful to cover herself up, especially considering that she's going to have a future husband that is able to refer back to these videos and see who it is that she is. She believes that it's important for her to cover herself up and be respectful to other people because she understands that her beauty is not inherently just shown to everybody in order for you to then be able to see her value or her worth. Now, it's interesting because when you see the comments that is on my other channel about her, guys are tripping over themselves to A, protect her, and then B, acknowledge her greatness. Not one piece of criticism towards her. I've even seen comments from guys that say, I wouldn't touch her because I respect her so much and I know I'm not ready to cover her. A canary in a coal mine. And I know that it's some more of y'all out there, but I'm using this as an example because I know a lot of people aren't visible. The majority of the women that are having the conversations online are strags for the streets. And so I want to highlight this, right? Because the ones that criticize us, or the ones that then have so much to say about the fact that men now have a voice and men now have standards, are the strags. And the ones that tend to agree with the fact that we want to have standards within our communities and we value you, we protect you just inherently, just by seeing her talk. My first thought was, I need y'all to find this girl. And I'm sure she ain't got no Instagram, but I need y'all to find this girl because I'm 100% curious as to what her thoughts is, what her background is, where she comes from, why she's been able to communicate so effectively, how she's held out, what her father is, whatever, so on and so forth. I just want to know what the blueprint is, aside from the woman that I married, so that y'all can see that it's possible. When people say don't get married, they not referring to her. She's not the one that they're saying don't get married to. They will trip over their feet to protect this woman. If these guys ever find this woman in real life, they're going to have a load of respect for her, not necessarily because she's showing all of her assets, but because she's preserving them and she has the right mindset as as it refers to what marriage is and what building a family is and what having standards and principles are. It is so crazy that our norm is so far away from this that she's considered a canary in a coal mine. She's considered a canary in a coal mine. That is crazy. That we're so upside down that we look at this woman and say she's rare, when this is supposed to be our norm. Look at Reginald Jenkins. Anybody named Reginald Jenkins II, anybody named Reginald Jenkins II does not even deserve to be in the same room as me. Shout out to Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Because you ain't never ever been married to a virgin before. You don't know what it's like to find a woman with the right mindset that will then get up under your covering, because you don't know what it means to be successfully married. Reginald Jenkins. Fam. Don't do that. Reggie, I'm on one today. It is Wednesday, it's hump day. I am not for the BS today. I will bring you to the front of the congregation. Please do not make me do it. I am trying to communicate effectively to y'all of what it is that we see happening in the streets and how we need to adjust our mindset to then continue to have standards. Okay? Calm down, Reggie. I like to interact with the chat. Please don't think for 1 second that I'm not paying attention. This is an interactive show. I don't just do it in a vacuum. It's not pre-recorded. I will definitely bring you to the front of the congregation here today. I'm on one today. I've been having a great day today. Let's continue. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show, because I need to make sure that I have a conversation with Jada Pinkett. Not even Jada Pinkett Smith no more. Jada Pinkett is what she's going by. Let me read some of these super chats. Jacquin says support for the great dialect. I appreciate you, Ja. Shout out to my dog, Ja. Daniel Gordon is in the building, says Will Smith's smack was all staged. Celebrities have a role to play. It's the reason they call them influencers. Jada is trash. I tune any woman out for even trying to defend Jada. I hope them same women that was defending Jada is going to bring themselves back to the front of the congregation, because we go in there today. More Than Mellow says no debt, all classes paid in cash. Shout out to More Than Mellow. I appreciate you. The Gray Way says Anton is always cooking. They just like food for the streets. We just got to slot them accordingly. Thank you, The Gray Way. Also, Queen V, shout out to Queen V, says that's why they insult mom. Because they are intimidated by the man she helped raise. They know they could never measure up to that level. I agree with you. I agree with you. Shout out to Queen B. Listen, let's go ahead. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. We running it up. Let me get one more super chat in here, and then we going to continue to rock out. Chike Auto LLC says she is clean. She don't have no sexual demons in her. She is beautiful, fit, and dressed modest, and she can communicate effectively. That's the biggest thing. She can communicate effectively. Silent Sniper is in the building. Shout out to my dog, Silent Sniper. Silent Sniper says, good morning, Anton. Been busy lately, but had some free time today. Send in some support and cook. Thank you, Silent Sniper. Thank you for holding me down, my friend, and for supporting the platform. I don't ask for super chats. I don't ask for cash apps. But people that inherently see the value in what we're doing over here, they just support the platform. So I'm always going to acknowledge you. Make sure, I love you too, Reggie. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit the Patreon so you can level up. We meeting up in DC. It's going to be rocking. Shout out to my dog, Chris J. We're going to rock out with that shortly. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let's get over to our feature of the day. Jada. Shout out to Jada. I'm not mad at Jada. I know a lot of people got a lot of hate towards Jada. They feel a certain type of way. They don't like the fact that your heroes has been destroyed. First, before we get into Jada, let's say this. What happened to all of y'all looking at Will and Jada as couples goals? Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. Jeezy and Jenny Ma. Huh? Who else of your celebrity crushes is going to fall at the hands of Anton Daniels and the guillotine? When y'all gonna stop? Y'all gonna stop worshiping these celebrities? These people can't help you. They have not. Listen, you've been looking at them as couple goals. According to her, they've been separated since 2016. And you still looking at their pictures that they take, or when they take family get vacations, or when they get that photo op in, and you saying, oh man, couples goals, or whatever's on is over. When you gonna start following a real one that can give you some real game as to how you can be successfully married going forward? Huh? What happened to couples goals? You don't want to have that conversation no more? Everybody broken up. Everybody got divorced. Everybody keep on falling under the guillotine. You know what they've been saying to me since 2004? Anton, I can't wait for you to get divorced. Anton, I can't wait for you to fail. Anton, I can't do. Keep waiting. Keep waiting. You're going to be skin and bones, 6 feet deep into your life, still waiting on me while I'm taking up real estate in your head, running up the numbers, being successfully married and being great. But let's bring Jada to the front of the congregation. Let's play what she decided to release this morning so we can mine this out and better understand exactly what's going on. She is the gift that keeps on giving. I ain't mad at Jada. I love Jada. Jada is a whole economy by destroying Will Smith's career. Let's see what this woman has to say.
We are back 8:14 with Carson and Hoda's exclusive interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and everyone's going to be talking about this.
Yeah, she is one half of Hollywood's most powerful couple. She's at the center of constant gossip and controversy, including that slap at the Oscars. She was sitting right next to Will Smith. And when we met up with Jada in her hometown of Baltimore to talk about her candid new memoir, Worthy, she opened up about an issue that has been kept secret until now.
Before we get into this, I got a question. Who told this chick that it was okay for her to write a book and continue to expose family secrets? Who told this woman that it made sense and it was going to add to the legacy of her husband, her children, her mother, or Tupac? Who told this woman that it made sense for her to actually continue to write a book and expose family secrets? Gosh. Talk about bad marriage for life.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016 which is 7 years ago now.
Yes.
Y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
So it was all a facade. It was all a facade. Got y'all hook, line, and sinker. When did J. Cole release that Jada and that Will Love? What was that called? Role Models? When did Role Models come out? J. Cole. December 9th, 2014 was when No Role Models come out. 2 years later, they was already on the rocks when J. Cole was putting his hard-earned effort and energy into that whole thing. Everybody that J. Cole mentioned in that song is for the streets, man. For the streets. For the streets. This woman said that since 2016, they have basically just been paper planes. Paper planes. Ain't that sad that all of y'all actually got finessed the same way that Barack Obama finessed y'all into voting for him and then gave y'all the alphabet community, the same way that Biden finessed y'all and told y'all not black if y'all don't vote for him, the same way that your baby daddy finessed you and told you that he loved you, skeeted in you, and then you ain't never seen him since. Y'all been getting finessed, y'all. When y'all gonna wake up? Y'all gonna still be black, blackity black, black love, celebrity couples, falling into the same trap? Y'all still going for it? You still think that Umar Johnson is giving you the blueprint on how to be successful and what you should do for the black community? When are y'all gonna wake up? She said that they haven't been together since 2016. Man, Will Smith can't give you the blueprint on how he can teach you. He can act. He's great as an actor. Phenomenal businessman, has a great company. But he can't even control his hoe. You can't even control your hoe. Let me guess. The people that feel a certain type of way, because we not going to hear nothing. Ain't going to be no live streams from B. Taylor TV and all of the other bandits that are these single baby mamas that got something that we ain't going to hear nothing from them. I bet you we not going to hear nothing from them. Since 2016, let me replay it for you one more time. I want to make sure you get it in her words. I don't want to get it in my words.
But the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
So, when you start to replay everything and you go through his YouTube videos and you see that happy family and all of this other type of stuff, right? And you see how crazy his kids was and they was over there cutting her hair, right? You see Willow and she's like, I'm in my hair back and forth, and she was over there looking like a whole demon. And you seen these three chicks, her mama, and her daughter sitting on Red Table Talk. And you start to replay all of these episodes and all of this advice that all of y'all phenomenal women kept taking in order to make sure that you took her insight and information, because she's Jada Pinkett and she's married to Will Smith. And she's giving y'all all of this trauma-filled advice, and y'all thought that she's your queen. Y'all thought that this all made sense. Remember? Anton, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, guess what? They ain't even been together since 2016. And then you see that slap, and he went up there and he slapped the piss out of Chris Rock. He slapped that man for nothing. He put his whole career on pause. What did Five Fingers say to the face? Jada. What did Five Fingers say to the face? See, when people get online, it's a different time. It's not controlled. It's uncontrollable now. When people get online and they tell you the truth, You have to start minding out everything that they did before that. It's like the Bible. You don't just read the scripture. You don't just read that verse. You got to read what's before it, and you pay attention to what's going on after it, right? And so as a result, when the five finger said to the face, slap, and then Chris Rock went on tour and started nuking this chick, it all seems justified. The slap is 200 million times worse when you see her over there looking like the alien, and she got on that green dress, and then they over there celebrating Will's win. It's 200 times worse now that she's out here still throwing this man's legacy under the bus. And y'all want to sit here and tell me why it's important to get married, and then I tried to separate it from you guys and tell you that it's a difference between being married and being successfully married. Come on now. Give me my credit. Give me my credit. Give me my credit. I want it. I got to have it. I told y'all we was going to revisit this conversation, and this is not the end of it, and that I was right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I've been right. I'm going to keep being right. I have the blueprint of how it is that you're supposed to be successfully married, and this is not it. Let me continue to play this. Look at that.
In public, the couple who married in 1997 denied the gossip about their marriage. This interview on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen was taped a year after Will and Jada separated.
So how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Look at all that. Look at him. Ooh, Hercules, 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 Hercules. That is amazing. Amazing. Hercules. Look at that fake smile. Look at the smile. Hercules, Hercules. Look. Hold on. Look at this right here.
23 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
And you know what the worst part about it is? Queen Latifah sitting right next to this funky hoe. Queen Latifah is sitting right next to this funky hoe. And if you look on the red carpet where her and August Alsina took the picture, Queen Latifah was standing right. Hold on. You know, I'm just, when things start to come out, you start to pay attention to it and you got to make an adjustment. Jada, August, Alsina, because the sister code is still real even with them. Check this out. Hold on. Let me see. Look. Let me see if I can find that picture. Here it is. Boom. Look at Anton working in real time. Who y'all see over there? Who's that peeping in my window? Blow. Queen Latifah now. Who's that peeping in my window? Blow. Queen Latifah now. The sister code is real. Who's that peeping in my window? Blow. Queen Latifah now. Who's that peeping in my window? Blow. Queen Latifah sister code now. See what I'm saying? See, nobody breaks this down the way that I break it down because I don't care. Nobody controls me. I'm already rich. It's nothing that nobody owns me. Me? Look how this played out. Look who's sitting right to her next to her a year after she allegedly got divorced. Look at this nonsense. Who is that sitting in the background? Dang, say it ain't so, queen. Say it ain't so, queen. It makes you wonder, what the fuck is really, give me a pass today. It makes you wonder, what the hell is going on in Hollywood? Huh? Because I don't believe that. They say the queen is powerful. I don't believe a word that any of these women. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Queen Latifah All of these funky hoes right here, I don't believe none of them. None of them. The only one that's still got a level of respect, a model of decorum in life right now. All of your black queens are trash. Trash. They're trash. They age like milk. You see Sugar Bear? Remember her on Set It Off? And Jada? And then you got the one at the bottom. I can't wait to see what her reaction is. I bet you she don't even talk about it. The one at the bottom, the one that 50 Cent, the one that said that she was eating the groceries of 50 Cent. We never looked at her the same, did we? Where are our queens at? Where's our queens at? Where is our queens at? She says she ate 50 Cent's groceries. Queen Latifah is giving the alley-oop over to Jada. She keeping Jada's secrets, allegedly. It looks like that's what it looks like on paper. She in the bind, Nate. Queen Latifah still in the background at the BET Awards in 2017. Huh? And there she is. Hercules, 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 Hercules. Hercules, 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 Hercules. Are these y'all queens? Y'all want to come back to the front of the congregation now? Y'all want to actually get in line so you can actually get yourselves together so that you can actually be successful in whatever it is that you have going on? Or you want to still you want to keep following these people off the cliff? You want them to lead you? Want them to give you advice? How to raise your kids? They kids is out here looking crazy. Don't know where to go. Don't know where to breathe. They don't know how to identify no more. Y'all still following these dumbass celebrities. Let's continue. Let's see what they got to say.
Denied the gossip about their marriage. This interview on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen was taped a year after Will and Jada separated.
So how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
Wow. That's amazing. How do you keep it hot?
How do I keep it hot? Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm baffled, really.
Yeah, right.
Over the next several years, Jada and Will kept up the appearance of a committed married couple. They even faced a scandal when Jada had what she called an entanglement with a family friend.
Check this out. While they showing this, have you noticed that they cut out this part of the picture right here? Why they cut this part of the picture out? Why they put that other part of the picture out? Why they only got it in this angle and they took out the rest of that angle? Queen Latifah was like, hey, well, I wasn't even supposed to be in that picture. Why am I even here? We're not even supposed to be in this picture. What you doing, Jada? Jada said, I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
Neither let the public know they had already split.
So I guess my question is, I feel like you're a straight talker.
I am.
Except you're not sometimes.
And a straight shooter.
Yeah.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, you know? And
nope,
we hadn't figured that out.
Let me tell you what partnership means. I want to make sure that I'm still benefiting from the bag that you make, and I want to make sure that I'm making as much money as possible as long as I can continue to get my back blown out by whoever, whenever, however. That's what I'm not ready looks like. I want to keep up the facade so that the queens can still love me and I can secure the bag and I can get my red table talk on and then I can get my new roles and I can be in the new movies and I can also live in these great houses and all of that. Here's my question for y'all. Are y'all believing any of this bullshit that she's saying right here? In any way, shape, and form. Objectively. Are y'all believing anything that comes out of these people? They stories and the reasons and the hows and the whys and why they lied. Because let's be clear, it was a lie. It was a lie. How they did it, what they did, going back and looking at it, why should we believe you now? Why should we believe you now? We knew who you were way before, which is one of the reasons why people kept criticizing the fact that Will felt emasculated, and he admitted it on the Breakfast Club about Pac being in your life, because I'm right 10 times over. When y'all referred to Jada and Will Smith and said, well, look how long they've been married. They've been married longer than y'all. No, they haven't, because their marriage was over a long time before 2016 even hit. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the real truth. Do you believe anything that's coming out of these people's mouths? Because I was right, I've been right, I'm still right, I'm going to continue to be right. And the fact of the matter is this. Hear me, and hear me clearly. All of your heroes, all of the people that sold you a narrative, they sold you out. All of these celebrities that y'all started to follow behind and y'all thought that they was your queens and your kings, they will fall. You know why? Because I've been telling you, character is the thing that keeps you when your success comes. And if you didn't do it the right way, if you're not a child of God, if you're not aligning according to the principles and the methods by which you're supposed to go about doing things, which then yields what successfully married looks like, you will fall eventually. You can hold up the charade as long as you want to. Your parents of yesteryear, your father, your mother, your grandmama, they held the secrets. You not even your father's child, your grandfather not even his father's child. The reality is this. If you don't go about doing it the right way, eventually you'll pass on more trauma and you will fall. It is written. This is the way that it goes. You cannot change the word. The word is what it was, and it was here before you got here. You will fall. Every last one of you will fall. I don't care how much money you made. I don't care how much of a celebrity you are. I don't care what your life is. You will fail and fall, and you are going to lead a generation of people into the mire, and then you're going to try to absolve yourself of being and living in this facade when in reality you never was able to do it in the first place. It's a fact. This is not marketing and promotion that she's doing. This is an expose as to why it is that you should not be following these women into the mire, and you need to make sure that you need to divest yourself from this culture that we've celebrated and highlighted and put on a pedestal, because it is the worst thing that has ever happened to us. These people are just as bad as the rappers that told you to sell crack to your community, because they are leading you into the mire, and they're profiting off of it, and they're not bringing themselves to the front of the congregation and apologizing to you. That is what is really happening in society today. You worship them, and they fail you every single time. And you wonder why y'all families are in disarray.
Figured that out.
During our walk in Baltimore, Jada reflected on their breakup.
Why did the relationship fracture?
Oh, well, why it fractured, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Oh.
Jada says she considered a legal divorce, but could never go through with it.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce.
You already divorced. You know how y'all say, well, what is the point of getting married on paper when I already got her? It's the same thing, but in reverse. I could never bring myself to get a divorce. But y'all will sit here and criticize men as to why it is that they won't get married. Because you're in love with the idea of it, and you're in love with the benefits that come along with it. Because as I told y'all before, all of these people are married based off of power and business. Their relationship was a business until she couldn't even keep up her end of the bargain and not be messy. And then she got caught up with August Alsina. And then the business failed because you couldn't even keep up your end of the bargain on that front. These people are marrying for power. They're marrying because they're looking at it for, listen, translation. She didn't want to do it, and this is just my opinion. She didn't want to do it because it wouldn't have been good for their careers, and the bag would have prevented her from being able to continue to live the life that she wanted. Okay? You want to hear the translation, the C student's translation? That's my interpretation of it. Oh, no. I had to make sure that I protected my bag. It ain't even protect the bag. It's my bag. It's what was in her best interest. I just couldn't bring myself to actually file. Y'all believe this? Are y'all going for it? You said it, David Simpson Jr., because it's bad for business. Bad for business. And I ain't even tripping about it. Here's the question that you really have to ask yourself. How many other celebrities, Congress members, influencers, how many more people are not really living a life like an open book and has been selling you this facade that's keeping you down because you believed them and you thought that they gave you the blueprint, but it was all a bag of chips. It was that bag of chips that they selling y'all from Lay's that's only a quarter full, but the rest of it is filled with air. Oh, we're going to get to the super chat shortly. Let me play a little bit more of this.
We'll work through whatever, and I just haven't been able to break that promise.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
I have so many questions. So do I. I have so many questions.
And I can give you every single answer to the question that you may have. I can give you every single question to the answer that you may have. Let me tell you something. Let me show you something real quick. Let me put it on a big screen. Make sure that y'all get the close-up. This right here, what you see happening right here is a reflection of your community. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all absolutely trash. Throw it away. Get rid of it. I haven't even addressed the other part of it, of the fact that she is literally the reflection of a modern woman, but I'm going to save that part. I'm going to say that part. We're going to cook up tonight on Wednesday night. I'm going to break down the other aspect of it, the real relationship aspect of it. I'm going to cook on that one extra, but that ain't coming back to the money. This is the Millionaire Morning Show, and so let me help you to understand something. The reason, in my opinion, that they stayed together is because it was good for the bag. It was good for the bag. It was good for the money. She benefited as a result of it. He could save his legacy and reputation as long as he can keep things under wrap. He wasn't able to control his emotions. He slapped up on Chris Rock. After she wound up cheating, well, I guess it wasn't really cheating because really it was their divorce and they wasn't really together, but they really was on paper. And so they kept selling the black community and all of their friends and their celebrity couples, and they kept their secrets while they was hanging around them. And you seen Queen Latifah over in the background taking a picture. And meanwhile, they was over there clapping and showing up on talk shows, talking about how great their relationships are and all of this other type of stuff. And then they gave y'all the slogan off of the Bad Boys movie, Bad Marriage for Life. And y'all was over there quoting it. I see you, Queen. Yeah, stay together forever by any means necessary. And y'all ate that shit up. And you watch the Red Table Talk on a regular basis. And you listen to these women give y'all advice. And they brought all of these stupid guests on. And then Will got on there and cried like he was for real. And he gave y'all the best performance of 2021-22. And y'all just ate that shit up. You just ate it up. You thought it was cool. You thought it was cute. In reality, y'all was the finesse. Y'all were the finesse. Pulled the rug right on up from under you. Pulled it right on up. And now she's writing a tell-all book that nobody forced her to write. How much money can somebody pay you to do the absolute worst thing possible for your legacy and for your family? Just curious. What's the cost? How much is it? When I told y'all that everybody is for sale, y'all said that no, that's not true. How much did they pay you to destroy your family? Will probably watching this live stream. What up, Will? What up, Mr. Smith? Get jiggy with it. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Get jiggy with it. Summertime's still my favorite song. Summertime's is still a top 3 song of all time. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Get Jada with it. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Get Jada with it. On your mark, get set, ready, go. Oh, I can't wait to cook up on this tonight. She is the gift that keeps on giving. Jada, God bless you. You are a gem. You are a peach. A Georgia peach at that. Straight from the streets of Baltimore. Shout out to Jada Pinkett. No longer going by Jada Pinkett Smith. Shout out to her. Let me read the super chats real quick, and then we're gonna continue on with the show. God, it's gonna be a great day today. Chris J says, good morning, people here for the Jada slander. There will be no Jada slander. Jada is a queen in my book. She is one of the most profitable people to the Millionaire Morning Show ever. All right? Silent Sniper said the zombies in I Am Legend didn't give Will Smith as hard of a time as Jada is giving Jesus. Good grief. Zachariah Blake says, good morning, brother, but they're not doing 30-year mortgage. It's 40 years now. Send that to me inside of my my email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. And then I'm gonna make sure that I break that down tomorrow. Zero Forks Experience says, crashing out for a broad you separated from is the epitome of a simp. Simps are the as bad for society as the ratchet 304s. No, they worse. Oh, I'm going to break it down. Chris J says, Will and Jada were my favorite couple growing up. See that? See how they finessed you, Chris J? You probably modeled your whole mindset after them. When they started revealing their real life, I had to slap myself several times. Granted, I've never, ever patterned my relationships after them. Well, you don't know that. We don't know what we subconsciously taken in as a result of the programming that we've seen on a regular basis. We don't know that. We're not going to find out until after it's too late. It's like CTE. You get the hits, you take the hits, you don't realize that you got the hits until you start moving your hand like Muhammad Ali. And you start doing like this every day. Oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? So Will basically slapped Chris for nothing. No, he crashed out over a chick that wasn't his. It was just his turn. Hubert Raim says, peace and blessings to you, my friend. Shout out to the greatest show on YouTube. I was in on time this morning. By the way, hashtag 50M. Facts. You know what I'm saying? My dog Enforcer 2K9 says, is this what black love looks like? Yep. Absolutely. Brittany B says they are actors and these are their biggest roles. The biggest role is real life. J Ben, my dog in the building. So the math would say they were separated when she caught the first bomb from Chris Rock. That boycott of the Oscars was in 2016. That's crazy. Daniel Gordon says Hollywood made a business of distracting the average person. They fabricate gossip, online beat to keep the audiences engaged. And what ends up happening, people start outsourcing their thinking based off of less than ideal role models. And they are making a bag and ruining y'all families and relationships as a result of it. Shout out to you. Steven says, shout out from Japan. It's midnight and I'm at work and just wanted to stop by and give you a shout out. Shout out to my people over there in Japan. Tristan Smith says, dear God, can Jada and Tia Mowry shut up and go away? No, we need them. We need them to continue to talk. There's nothing more powerful than a woman that is exposing herself, especially with a tell-all book. David Mosby said, Will wanted to slap her and tell family secrets, breaking code. Pac's leftovers set it all off. Watch yourself, Baltimore girls. It's dangerous. Dangerous. That's a little bit of Michael Jackson. Christian Hutchinson says, is this marriage together due to money? Why Will holding this woman hostage? Is Will hiding something? It makes no sense at this point. We don't know, but we can speculate. You know what I'm saying? Tristan Smith says, Jada's goodies were so bad, August turned gay. That's crazy. Or maybe he was already there and we're just now finding out about it. Elliot Jackson says, never forget about the Home Depot girl when she met Shaq. Where the Home Depot girl at today? Somebody tell me. Somebody get her over to me so I can interview her and find out what's going on. The Right Insight says, coming soon to Netflix. The Thought Chronicles starring Jada, Tia, Megan, Lala, and Kiki. Are you with me? And you're writing. Wise, strong, and safe with ABJ says marriage equal compromise, duty, and work. Yeah. J. Ben, my dog, says never trust a woman who adds your last name to hers. That is a red flag, my friend. And Jermaine Cole, a.k.a. J. Cole, came through and says Jaden wanted to leave at 15. That was a giant red flag. Yep, I agree. Let's continue to roll because we got a whole show that we got to continue with, and we want to make sure that we get to the money. So make sure y'all tune in tonight. We're going to be having a conversation about Will and Jada, specifically Jada, on the Anton Daniels channel, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's bring Brandon Johnson back to the front of the congregation. I've been giving him a reprieve for a little bit, a long time, not a long time, just a short amount of time, actually. I've been giving him a reprieve for a little bit now. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let Brandon Johnson breathe. They say that he a godly man. They say that he's a godly man. And so I wanted to give him a little bit of a reprieve. I didn't want to keep bringing him to the front of the congregation every day. But before we even get to that part, let me give you a little bit of news. What's going on in Chicago? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. Let's get to the bag.
City council members are asking for voters to have a say in the migrant situation.
After a record surge at the U.S.-Mexico border this month, thousands of migrants are arriving to sanctuary cities across the country.
That's right. From New York City to right here in Chicago, the buses are arriving now pretty much daily from the southwest border.
Caroline Elliott live from El Paso, Texas, where many of these migrants are crossing the border. Caroline.
Now, you got to remember, and I want to make sure that I have this conversation with you guys in truth. This is a video from Fox 32 News over in Chicago, and they are giving you an update on what's going on, and it dropped this morning. So this is recent news. This is not yesterday's news. This is not the day before yesterday's news. This is not last week's news. This is not any of that. This is hard work and insight and information based off of these good people over there at Fox 32 News, helping you to understand what the latest updates is going on in Chicago.
Yeah, well done, Scott. El Paso city officials tell us that this is one of the busiest areas on the southern border, but most of these migrants aren't staying here for long. They're going to cities like New York City and Chicago. We're told so far this year, more than 120,000 migrants have arrived to New York City through the state's busing program. And El Paso city officials tell us they don't expect these.
Hey, that looked like a tour. That literally looked like a tour. It looks like people are getting on tour buses in order to see what the city is coming. They got the good buses. These is like the tour buses from the rappers. They are coming over here in droves still. Now, just because they said that they was going to work on the border does not mean that they're not going to continue to have them coming over the border and then being bussed in. And as of today, they are bussing in migrants by the busload, and specifically Chicago. We're not going to remove Denver from the congregation. I'm going to come back to you, Atlanta. Certainly, New York is thinking about pivoting because Eric Adams, I believe, wants to get into it, stay in office for another term. I'm not sure why he's so desperate to do so he threw Biden under the bus as a result of it. But over in Chicago, over 120,000, those are just the ones that they can count, migrants are hanging out over on the O Block.
arrivals to slow down anytime soon based on the number of migrants still crossing the border at record levels. According to Customs and Border Protection, nearly 25,000 migrants were released from processing centers here in the last 3 weeks. And El Paso city officials tell us 10 to 12 buses are leaving the city on a daily basis. The city's chief emergency management coordinator tells us even though shelters have been overwhelmed in El Paso, the increase in busing has certainly helped.
It creates a backlog within the shelter system, and our system is designed on that movement. And if we don't see movement within 5 to 7 days, then we have to create an outlet. And the charters have been a big part of that to help decompress the region. And we've been sending charters to New York, Chicago, and Denver.
So they've created an entire system, a loop by which they've funded, housed, provided healthcare coverage, taking them and sending them back and forth to school, building immediate housing for them, temporary housing for them. And if they can't find housing for them immediately, they say, listen, you can stay in the Chicago airport, you can stay at the police stations. And they're continuing to build this entire system with infrastructure and billions of dollars as a result of it. Even though they're over budget in Chicago and money, hundreds of millions of dollars cannot be accounted for, they are making sure that they're creating an environment that is conducive for what it is that they want to displace you with.
Inside downtown shelters, we talked with several migrants who recently crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. And now they're waiting in shelters in El Paso, planning to bus to Chicago soon.
All he wants to do is he's here with his family. They made it all the way over here. He doesn't want anything from the country. All he wants is just, giving a message to everybody else who is out, who's coming. Follow the rules, do what you have to do.
And so he don't want nothing from the country. They just want to come over here, work, get this money, build their families up, have a better opportunity in order to continue to have and achieve the American dream. Cool. Well, if that be the case, then why did this video get released today also?
Now to the latest in Chicago's migrant crisis. During a gathering this afternoon, protesters demanded more humane treatment for those who are seeking a better life here. NBC5's Chela Wojciechowski was there for their urgent call to leaders.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
This is literally a protest, an immigrant rights protest. You are watching this in real time. An immigrant rights protest. And they're saying, I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Invest. Look at the signs. Invest in all of us. Invest in all of us. Text this number.
Immigrant rights groups coming together this afternoon on Daly Plaza, demanding that more be done to support migrants arriving in Chicago.
They're looking for safe, dignified housing. They're looking to work and to put food on the table. They're looking to provide an education for their children and medical care for their new babies.
But the Illinois court...
Let me rewind that. I want you to understand what exactly they're looking for. Listen, this is not limited to, this is just a basis for what they're looking for. All right? They believe that they will win, and they have to get rights too.
In Chicago.
They're looking for safe, dignified housing.
They deserve and is looking for safe, dignified housing. So you living in van life and going to wash up at the gym in Walmart, it's a no-go for you.
They're looking to work and to put food on the table.
They want jobs and opportunity to replace you and making sure that they can build this country back up and the infrastructure. We need more workers. The boomers are starting to retire. We need more workers.
They're looking to provide an education for their children and medical
care, education, We want it all. Remember when I did the live stream yesterday and I broke down to you how much was going towards nutrition assistance and other and all of this other type of stuff? We believe we will win, and you are winning. And that's the beautiful part about it, is that anybody can be anything they want to be in this country of the United States of America. Listen, these people right here that you guys got so much to say about, huh? You want to discriminate against these migrants that's coming over here? Well, guess what? They believe that they will win. And one day, your children will work for their children. You know why? Because the majority of the wealth that is generated in this country comes from outside of the people that are inherently born in this country. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do a whole live stream on it, and I'm going to break down a loop that allows for you to then work for them as a result of it in a future show. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, because I like to do it on Friday in order for y'all to be able to call in and debate me and tell me how I'm wrong about it. They believe that they will win. And 1 or 2 generations from now, they will be sitting here on YouTube, probably hosting the Millionaire Morning Show, and making sure that your children get them their coffee. And they will win. And they are winning. And it ain't nothing you can do about it, because you the one that opened up your house, which is the United States of America, to allow for it to happen. Don't complain about it. You voted for it.
Who care for their new babies.
But the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights says that will cost money that so far has yet to materialize.
The federal government needs to step up. Joe Biden needs to step up, and the Congress needs to step up.
Without the proper investment in these services, there's only so much that we would be able to do, and there's only so much that we can do.
With 5 buses yesterday, another 5 buses estimated to arrive today, the total number to Chicago is now expected to top 400. That means 18,000 new arrivals in the city of Chicago. And that is causing tension in neighborhoods like Galewood, where late last night, the Brandon Johnson administration paused plans to turn Amundsen Park into a migrant shelter.
And I'm here this morning to say thank you to the community. Thank you for your voices. Thank you for your cry to the mayor. You're imploring the mayor to change his mind.
The
mayor ain't doing nothing for y'all? Wait. You thought that just because you got somebody in office that looked like you, that had the same haircut as you, this guy right down here, you thought that he was going to work on y'all behalf? Y'all thought that he had y'all back? Y'all thought that there wasn't an ulterior motive and agenda that was there? Did y'all think that the migrant crisis started when he just got in office, or it was already in flight and that he just had to go ahead and adopt the policies or whatever it is that's happening around him in order to continue to do whatever it is that's being instructed of him? Do y'all think that this man is actually going to change his mind?
The office is also looking for alternatives to the proposed migrant tent city plan that it floated.
We're looking for, sustainable shelters that are primarily brick and mortar to do those, to provide those the proper shelter.
And then look at the people. Let me show you what the people are doing. This is the nature of the people. This is what they're standing up for.
I'm upset. I'm simply because we have not been told anything.
We have enough problems, and that's clear by the condition of the roads in this city.
An explosive board meeting in Joliet. It was standing room only. Residents there say they were blindsided to learn that migrant shelters could soon be popping up in their city.
Now, many of those community members are calling on the township to reject the $8.6 million awarded by the governor.
Casey Cronin.
Bag for bag. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to do a whole show. Don't worry, I'm going to read your super chat shortly.
Is in Joliet with the fireworks.
Public comment went on for hours, and the overwhelming majority of residents who spoke are against the plan. One even calling it, and I quote, disgraceful.
If people are disruptive in the meeting, then they will be asked to leave the meeting.
No, we're not going to do as you say, okay? For one, I think maybe I'll try to get your job.
Let me tell you something, man in army fatigue with matte hair. I just woke up off the pillow hair, and then I came over into this meeting. Let me tell you something, sir. I want to give you a reality check. You know what the reality check is? is that nobody cares about what you think Mr. Army Fatigue Pajama said. Nobody cares about what you... You didn't care until it started affecting and coming into your community and starting affecting what you got going on. Nobody cared. Nobody was tripping about it. Nobody was making a big deal about it. Oh, I don't really care about the migrant crisis. You know, it was a migrant crisis that was happening, literally, that was taking place way before they started busing them up to Chicago, and nobody tripped. Nobody said build the borders, build the walls. Y'all was against it. Y'all voted against it. Y'all advocated against it. Y'all championed the whole cause of not building the border and keeping our borders open and all of that. You fought it. You fought it. You advocated for this, and nobody cared until it was down on your doorstep. And now they starting to build shelter in your communities, and your kids is going to be in classrooms with 60 different children, and you feeling some type of way now. Now you feeling some type of way. Chicago has been blue since I can remember. I don't even remember Chicago ever voting any differently than what it is that they're doing now. Now you feeling some type of way. Now you feel like you hurting. And I told you, I warned you. It don't matter if you black, it don't matter if you white, it don't matter if you Mexican, it don't matter if you Latino, it don't matter what you are. You will get this smoke. You will get this smoke. It is a class war. It is not, and your money is the money that's going to be used in order to fund it. You better pay your taxes or you're going to be homeless. You better pay your property taxes as raising. You better pay your taxes. You better pay your federal, right? You know you can't file for bankruptcy and get that federal removed. Not that tax burden that IRS is coming for you. They added more agents, 80,000 agents too. They want all your money. They want to make sure you pay your fair share, Duck Dynasty. Hey, Duck Dynasty, pay your motherfucking fair share and get this work. That's what I'm telling you.
Get your job.
A fiery meeting in Joliet.
We don't want this.
Put the township board in the hot seat.
This is our township, and we wish to be included.
Hey, Obama jeans, let me tell you something. Nobody cares about what you think, Obama jeans. Obama jeans and flannel shirt. If you see a man that's tucking in his shirt inside of his jeans, that man is not to be played with. That man been through some stuff in his life, and he's made an adjustment, and he's looking to have a good life. He's looking to have a good life, and he's not to be played with. He's not to be played with, and you better not step on his lawn. You see a man that's wearing Obama jeans with no belt, tucked in shirt, and that is complaining at the board, oh, you better believe he is the head of the HOA association, and he is not to be played with, and you will not double park, and you will not step on his lawn.
And give our consent.
Under a proposal submitted to the state by Supervisor Angel Contreras,
We are here to listen to your concerns.
Joliet Township would create 3 migrant centers and 1 clinic. One of those sites would be the Peter Claver Center.
I think we were misled.
Another, the Hartman Rec Center. But now the Joliet Park District is rescinding its lease offer, claiming it had no idea the township wanted to use it as a site for migrants. Some say this.
That's what I'm about to start doing. I'm about to start tucking mines in. Wearing that collared shirt, get my New Balance 407s or my Asics, no belt, tuck your shirt in your jeans, and throw a hat on. I bet you they start respecting me then. I bet you start taking advice then. I bet you start paying attention to what I say then once I tuck my shirt and my jeans. Yeah, you gonna focus.
This is a humanitarian crisis, and communities should be doing what they can to help.
People are coming here for safety and a better way of life.
But others say Joliet does not have the capacity to support.
Uh-oh. Shout out to baby girl in that Christian Louboutin. Got all of the logos over her whole outfit. Hat, hair did, nails did, everything did. When you see a woman that got on that Temu, I don't know if it's Temu or not. I ain't never bought no Christian Lube shirts or shoes. Only thing I've ever bought it for is my chick. When you see a chick that come over with all of the logos and she's standing right next to the person that y'all used to call their oppressor, Dr. Umar Johnson wouldn't be happy about this. No way in the world you're going to tell me that Dr. Umar Johnson is going for this shit right here. He said not to join hands with the oppressor. And we got a woman that's probably a strong supporter of Dr. Umar Johnson. Hit the Cash App. And she's joining hands and holding side by. You know it's mean business. When y'all divest from what Umar Johnson is saying in order to hold hands with who you thought was the oppressor, shit. Y'all passionate about what's going on in y'all neighborhoods and community.
Have the capacity to support 1,900 asylum seekers.
We are unprepared of something that we didn't know about.
It's all about
resources and about tax dollars.
Likewise, Mayor Terry Darcy wants the grant application withdrawn.
It's just not tenable. We cannot do what the grant says. And I found out in the news like everyone else did. I had no knowledge this grant was being applied for.
Let me tell you something. Residents, everybody that's in the suburbs of Chicago, you going down. You going down. Down, down, down. Red team going down. Resident, look at me. Everybody that's watching this over in Illinois, all of the residents that surround Chicago, everybody that's in Chicago, let me help you to understand something. This man right here, this guy right here, you going down, guys. They're going to run your city into the ground, guys. And nobody is going to come to save you. And I believe that's the way that it should be. You should be forced to eat your words and be subjected to whatever it is that you voted for. You wanted this. You asked for it. You voted for it. I did a whole live stream and I educated y'all. And I said, listen, these are the candidates that's running for office. You do not want Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's now mayor. You do not want these people representing you as far as how it is that they're petitioning and how they're going to be running the city. I said, listen, the local election is more meaningful to you personally than anything that's happening on a national scale. The local election, go vote. Don't vote for this guy. I don't have no control over it because I'm not over in Chicago. And y'all said, nope. I'm not listening to you, Anton. You not for the black community. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, then eat that shit then. Deal with it. No, you wanted this. I think that Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing an excellent job making y'all eat y'all words. Shout out to Mayor Brandon Johnson. I would love to send Mayor Brandon Johnson a bouquet of flowers to thank him and his family for doing the thing that is right for the community members in Chicago. I would like to thank them. Shout out to Mayor Brandon Johnson. You are awesome. Keep on taking in all of the migrants. Keep on keeping on. We love you, Mayor Brandon Johnson, over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. Dave G says, do you only buy properties in your own market? Or do you buy anywhere as long as the numbers are good? If so, how can I connect on the back end? I only buy and I only invest in my own cities in my own state of Michigan. But it's two reasons that I do that. Number one, well, let me first give you an acknowledgement for the $7 super chat. Thank you, Dave G. Number one, I believe that it's important for you to understand the market that you're in, especially on a local level, in order for you to make the best financial decision possible. I know Michigan. I know Metro Detroit. I understand the market. I understand what's going on. I know where the good schools are. I know where the upcoming neighborhoods are. I see where the investment is going. I'm participating in the community meetings. I know where the property values are going up. I know where the property taxes is exploding. I know where the opportunities are. I built great relationships, right? I go to and I listen to the city council meetings. I know the mayors. I know the township supervisors. I have a great relationship with the offices that I pull permits from. So it's much easier for me to be successful and for me to monitor and pay attention to what's going on in my own community than for me to invest somewhere out of state. That's number one. Number two, I'm just really invested in seeing the success of my cities. The places that I grew up in, the places that I've seen, the opportunities and pouring into the people that's here. I can never leave Michigan and Detroit. And so it's important for me, both from a social perspective and from a business perspective to continue to invest in the spaces that mean the most to me. And I also believe that the Midwest is where the greatest opportunities is going to be in the future. But I explained that in previous live streams, and maybe I'll go over that later. And I'm also doing a live stream upcoming to where I break down exactly what the tax structure is, the real estate strategy, and all of that. So I'm always going to continue to invest in my space. I don't run to the next city. I become even more invested in the places that I want to see successful. So that's one of the reasons why I did so. Shout out to Dave G. That's a great question. Bag for Bag says, sorry to break it to you, the Home Depot girl is a full-on Peace Star. Oh, you got to send me that. You got to send me that. Shout out to Bag for Bag. I need to know what's going on. Of course she's going to be on OF. David Simpson says, time to invest in these bus manufacturers and busing companies. Shout out to David Simpson. Bag for Bag says, Anton, I Googled that 80% of immigrants yearly account for business startups in the United States of America. That's a fact. That's a fact, though. Rod Jefferson in the building says, been a fan since I first seen those interviews with Charleston White. Joining the Patreon ASAP to tap in more. Let's run it up. Shout out to you, my friend. I appreciate you. And everybody that's holding me down and has been here since my day ones. Anastasio Rodriguez says, Latino population projection, 25% by 2030. Let me tell you something. Well, I'll get into that later. Josh the Roofer says, laughing my A off. Black people better keep up. I got a few crews down here in Texas, and they work 10 times harder than any of my fellow black people that and typically happily accept a third of the pay. Shh. Don't be quiet, Josh the Roofer. Be quiet, Josh the Roofer. You know what I'm saying? Shh. Eldon Waite says, shout out to all who voted for Mayor Johnson. Don't worry. He will make more promises and y'all will fall for them again. Vote blue. I agree. My dog, AL, says, remember when folks were mad at Trump about the border camps with the kids in cages? Obama and Biden started them. They said, give them better housing. Well, now we can take them into y'all communities and y'all can speak towards that. Elliot Jackson says, what breaks America first? The migrant crisis, another round of C. That ain't happening again. Ain't nobody putting no mask on and masking up no more. The impending recession, the housing market crash, or voting blue 2 times in 2024. I believe that the migrant crisis, none of these things is going to break America. You know what's going to break America before any of it? Fatherless households. That's the root cause of a lot of things. That's the biggest problems in our country. And homelessness. Inflation, homelessness, and fatherless households are at the top of the list for me. Those are the 3 things that's at the top of the list. I don't think any of this stuff. And I don't think that it's going to be a housing market crash at all. I don't see it. But I could be wrong. Torrance Daniels says, late to the stream today, better late than never. Shout out to Torrance Daniels. I appreciate you. Don't come to my city, Torrance. Aaron says, that's not Christian Dior. That's Christine Dior. Hey, as long as she got clothing, okay? Junior VK says, wait till Detroit become a migrant city. Y'all blue too. We ain't never becoming a migrant city at all. Listen, y'all might think that we blue because the people that vote that way, but our mayor is very conservative and you don't know. You have no clue whatsoever. Shout out to Mike Duggan, my guy out here in Detroit doing a phenomenal job. Miles Horn says, what would you do if you lived and grew up in Chicago? Would you move or stay and try to fight the madness that's going on? God damn it. That is a very, very good question. I think that y'all should go. I think that any reasonable person that is in Chicago, because it's too unaffordable. Y'all got New York prices over there in Chicago, but y'all don't have New York culture as far as the opportunities for y'all to continue to be successful. Crime is out of control. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that because I stayed through all of the hardest times in Michigan. I stuck around. I never moved. I never left my city. I never left my state. I can't really speak to that. I will probably stay. I'm just a loyal person. I believe in immersing myself and getting into it. But everybody not built like me, so I'm not going to tell everybody to stay. I think you should do what's best for you and for your family. Do what's best for you and your family. But I stayed in Michigan. Jay Hunter Lee says, these blackity blacks are like tricks. Once the Dems are done with them, they replace them, and we fall for it because we don't read. Absolutely, I agree with you. Torrance B says, I'm moving to Detroit and bringing my whole block cousins. No, you're not. We don't have that here. We're not going for that shit here. They're going to get all arrested. They're going to get arrested over here in the Detroit city. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Did James say that there's better Christians than you, Anton? What did James say? Hold on. Let me look at James before I move over into the next thing. I got time today. Better Christians than you. Then who? It's better Christians than who? Shit. Name them. Name one. Name one better Christian than me. Name one. Name one whose life is a reflection of what it is that they advocate for, pour more into their community, invest in their people, actually is a great father, stay married, successfully married, also make sure that he tells the truth and does not sugarcoat it, hold people accountable, and do not even have a conversation about something until I experience it, and is well-versed in my word. You name me another motherfucking Christian. Who? Your pastor? Man, your pastor ain't shit. Fuck your pastor. Tell your pastor to come see me. He don't want to come see me because he know I'm a. Your pastor is a sucker. Name one. Who a better Christian than me? Shit. You I'm telling you, I'm on one today. Say, all right. Let's get into the United States of America and what's happening over there with Biden. Shout out to Biden. Yeah. Woo! Shout out to Biden. Did y'all know that the U.S. has already stepped up in supporting and making sure that they're funding and sending weapons and money and aid over to support what's going on between Israel and Hamas? No, say it ain't so. Did y'all know that we did a whole show yesterday breaking down how Congress has already started investing in war stocks? No, that can't be true. Did y'all know that I also broke down how well over a year and a half ago, before the Ukraine war had already broke out, that Congress had already started investing, members of Congress had already started investing in war stocks? No, say it ain't so. Wait a minute. You telling me that our president and our Congress and our legislative branches are quick to mobilize and fund and sending weapons over into support and leveraging our military, which we fund with an incredible amount of money every single year, in order to support their allies over in another country, but we can't even secure our own borders? Don't worry about it. Let's talk about it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you have not tapped into the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
President Biden reiterated U.S. support of Israel, vowing to continue sending military assistance. The president and members of his administration spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Tuesday from the Situation Room.
If that's not a photo op right there, I don't know what is. Is that not the most perfect photo op that you guys have ever seen in your entire life? Taken at an angle in the Situation Room, making sure that they address what is going on with all of their devices and their name tags is perfectly placed on the table, and they're having a conversation about how it is that they can solve for what is going on over there in order to make sure that we get things under control, and we don't want anybody interfering in what's going on between Israel and Hamas.
CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe has the latest.
This was an act of sheer evil.
President Biden condemned the attacks by Hamas, which he revealed killed at least 14 American citizens, comparing it to the worst rampages of ISIS.
Parents butchered using their bodies to try to protect their children. Women raped, assaulted, paraded as trophies.
He said the U.S. is sending special operators to help Israel coordinate the rescue of more than 100 hostages held by the militant group including Americans.
We now know that American citizens are among those being held by Hamas.
New militant groups say it ain't so. Oh. Don't this make you want to cry because it's like a replay all over again? First it was the Taliban. Then it was ISIS. Then it was the freedom fighters over in Afghanistan. New militant groups are holding people, and so we got a new war on our hands. Make sure that you guys gird up and give all of the money because we have to fund this and see what's going on over there overseas. Oh, Jesus Christ. God, new militant groups. That's happening. All right, hold on. Let's continue. Let's continue.
A carrier strike group, including the USS Gerald Ford, has arrived in the region and could be used as a platform to launch hostage rescue missions. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says there are 20 or more Americans still missing, though it's unclear how many have been abducted by Hamas. He said there are no current plans to send U.S. troops into the conflict.
At this point, that is not something that is under planning.
With the fighting ongoing, the president huddled with his national security team this morning and held his third phone call.
Look at Kamala, perfectly in the background. What are we going to do, Biden? What's going on over there? What's the plan of attack? Listen, under no circumstances are we sending American troops over there in order to fight over against the Israel and Hamas war. We just got to make sure that we supply them with everything that they need to continue the war. What's going on, Biden? Now, this is a national security measure. What should we do? What should we do? We got this. Let's get all of our security measures in order to make sure that we take care of business.
Since the conflict began with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mr. President Joe, I want to thank you for your continued and unequivocal support.
Is this a bad joke? Is this a bad joke? Did they set up their phones? Hold on. I want to thank you for your continued support. Hold on. Camera's off a little bit. Let me get this together. Give me 1 second. I got to make sure that I want to make sure that I thank you for your continued support and what's going on over here. And thank you for continuing to make sure that you support what it is that we're doing in order to ensure that we free the people over here. How many more weapons are you sending?
Offering more military support, including precision-guided munitions for fighter jets. The first shipment of supplies landed this evening. Mr. Biden is also sending...
Wait. Let me rewind that one more time. What did they send over?
More military support, including precision-guided munitions for fighter jets. The first shipment of supplies landed this evening.
Wow.
Mr. Biden is also...
Wonder who makes those.
...sending Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Israel tomorrow, part of a diplomatic push to contain the crisis from spreading further. A major fear among allies that Iranian-backed Hezbollah could fully join the fight. The president today issued this warning.
Anyone thinking of taking advantage of this situation, I have one word: don't.
Oh, that scares me. Listen. If I was a dictator in another country and I seen Biden and Kamala Harris warning me of what it is that I shouldn't do, even though I'm already doing it, and he has a message for me, and they bring this teleprompter over to me and they say, hey, listen, Biden got a message for you. I want you to look at it on this phone because we need to be very, very careful about how we're going to move next. And I hear him talk to me the next time, and he say this, and he gives his message to us, and this is the message that they show on the phone.
Issued this warning.
Anyone thinking of taking advantage of this situation, I have one word: don't.
Don't? What do you mean don't? What does that mean? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Jesus. Oh. You got Cam sitting there in the background. This is so bad. What in the Tubi is this? What in the Tubi is this? Oh, God. Fucking. Jesus. Y'all see why I was thinking about not having a kid? Do y'all see why I was thinking about not having a kid and bringing her into this world? Good God. Listen to this message.
Warning.
Anyone thinking of taking advantage of this situation, I have one word: don't.
Ed O'Keefe joins us now from the White House. Ed, you mentioned in your piece the USS Gerald Ford Carrier Strike Group arrived in the Mediterranean on Tuesday. Help us understand here what that is and its purpose.
The most advanced aircraft carrier in the U.S. naval fleet. It was sent to the region, U.S. officials say, not in response to Hamas, so much as to deter others, Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, other actors or organizations from getting involved, sending an unmistakable signal. If you try to intensify or expand this conflict, the United States stands ready. But what CBS News has learned from current and former U.S. officials is that the aircraft carrier is most likely set to be a staging ground for operations that could potentially help extract hostages from the from the grip of Hamas, essentially. No plans, as we said in our report, but worth reiterating here, no plans as of tonight for any U.S. troops to enter the conflict there on the ground.
No plans for that, but Ed, there's been a lot of talk about this. Are there limits to what the U.S. is going to be able to do to help Israel right now if the House doesn't have a Speaker of the House?
That's a good question. Remember, the House and Senate essentially are out of session this week because of the Columbus Day holiday. The Senate.
Oh, the House is out of session this week because of the Columbus holiday. Everybody else went to work yesterday. On Monday. Everybody was fucking. I love my country. I really do. I just don't understand what's going on. We see it happening right in front of our face, and we just be like, "Yep, we're gonna still roll with it." Listen, I don't have any doubt in my mind that it's a possibility that he could win the next election. Don't y'all know that most of the time it always just happen to be just some weird coincidence that whenever a Democrat is in office, we start to face another war, or whenever somebody is becoming an incumbent, some disaster happens. Man, I don't believe anything that I see online anymore. I just got to take it at face value, use my context clues from what happened in history, and see if Biden scares me by saying don't, man. This is becoming so. If y'all not making money off of this, if y'all not researching the different companies that you need to invest in as a result of what's going over here, then that's all I could tell you. But this is such a bad movie. This is such a bad script. Such a bad script. And nobody is going for it, but everybody is going for it at the same time. Good God almighty. I want to get to the money, but let me read some of these super chats. So Aaron says, migrant bus is coming to Detroit soon. Nope. It's coming to Boston, where you moved away from Chicago. Shout out to AL. Chris James says, Home Depot girl is not a P star. The F. Can't believe somebody put money on a lie. Y'all got to give me the update on what's going on with the Home Depot girl. I'm curious. I want to interview her. Tyson Scott says they voted blue. They ruined the cities, and leaving to do the same thing in another state is not the solution. I agree. Y'all leaving and then taking y'all voting preferences with y'all. David Simpson Jr. says Biden is the worst president ever. Don't let Jimmy Carter off the hook, who, by the way, is considered a great religious man. Y'all know that George Bush is considered a great religious man also, right? Jay Ben says Kamala got a strong neck. And her name is not Kamala, it's Cam. You know what I'm saying? Juwan Hart says Biden been listening too much to Bryson Tiller. Don't. I agree with that. And then last but not least, My guy, hold on, let me bring you up. Mr. Sukuyomi says, good afternoon, big dog. Did you hear about Jada and Will being separated for years, meaning he publicly slapped Chris Rock or something? Y'all must just be just now getting into here. We covered that. Y'all gonna have to rewind. Y'all gonna have to rewind and rewatch what it is. And I'm gonna be tapping in and having a whole conversation about it tonight on the other Anton Daniels channels. But shout out to you. I appreciate you. Counselor Mr. G says, I'm normally busy now, but I got a little bit of time to talk today. Talk about a point of disagreement I'd like to mention in a Patreon message. Who, busy disagreement with me? Disagreement with me? You're going to have to cam up on Friday. You hold on to that. You hold on to that. Point of disagreement, you hold on to that. We're going to do a whole lot. As a matter of fact, you can call into the show tonight on the Anton Daniels channel. Tune in. We got a point of disagreement. Point of order. Point of order. All right, New York. New York. Let's get to it. New York. Did y'all know, shout out to Enforcer 2K9. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. Did y'all know that it's going to cost you $23 a day to drive in Manhattan? All of my New Yorkers, everybody that want to visit and get a car. I have not, G-Man 313. Be more than welcome to send it to me. I'll check it out. Did you know that New York has now instituted a requirement for you to pay $23 per day? Shout out to Justin K. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat. Black Beauty is familiar. Put up the Liberty signal. $23 per day to drive in Manhattan. And do you know why? Would you like to know why? Nope. That's not true, Black Beauty. Nope, that's not true, Black Beauty. Let me bring it up. This is why.
Walk the streets of Manhattan, and you may soon see hundreds of new cameras covering every lane headed downtown. They're charging a new toll on congestion.
We are going to be the...
So maybe you are right. They're charging a new toll on congestion. But see, my impression of it is that they were using it to fund the new system by which they have these new cameras run on. I don't believe that it's based off of congestion. Maybe you are right, but I don't believe it's based off of congestion. I believe it's based off of trying to control the crime that is happening across New York in general, and they're using this as an opportunity to continue to do so. But we'll get into it. I could be wrong. I've never heard of a congestion toll in my entire life. Listen. I've never heard of a congestion toll in my entire life. I don't believe that that is what they're using it for. I believe that that's what they're telling you, but that is not what they're using it for. But we're going to get there.
The very first state in the nation, the very first city in America.
Look at this woman, Kathy Hochul.
To have a congestion pricing plan.
The new toll covers much of...
This is a new tax, y'all. This is a new tax. Honestly, this is just a new tax.
Lower Manhattan. Entering this zone in a car could cost up to $23 a day.
It's going to be an example for cities all over the country to rethink how they use their street space.
But a plan of this scale will affect millions of people every day. Not everyone is a fan.
Most people are only focused on the fact that they are going to have to pay.
I see. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. I believe I share the same
pocketbook issues always take priority over the environmental issues or anything else that's related to the problem.
The MTA will use its share of project revenues to secure $15 billion in financing for system maintenance and capital investment.
So you think that they're trying to control congestion, or that they're trying to continue to raise money in order to fund what they want to do in the city? Hold on. Let me say it again. Do you believe that they're trying to control congestion, or do you think that this is just the term that they're leveraging in order to continue to tax you and then leverage that money in order to fund what they really want to do within New York? if they can raise $15 billion and then label it and slap it as a congestion tax, come on, fam. Come on, fam. New York already got the highest taxes in the whole entire United States of America. And then they're taxing you more to even be able to drive in a city that they taxed you in order to build the infrastructure for. And then they labeled it as a congestion tax. Let's hear some more about it before we criticize it, all right?
You know, the public transit system that millions of New Yorkers rely on every single day has been disinvested in almost from day one. Many parts of the system have suffered basically a century of deferred maintenance.
You know, over the last 70 years, the federal government focusing almost exclusively on investing in our roads, infrastructure, the interstate highway system. We're not going to undo 70 years of policy.
Can higher tolls for drivers fix traffic in Manhattan? And will they make New York even less affordable? Manhattan's new toll zone covers all of the routes into the central business district. Some routes into the area already get tolled. The fees can be over $14 per crossing. Others are free until the program begins in the spring of 2024.
And so that discourages people from really driving out of their way for the cheapest route. And right now, tons of people do that.
The final price of the fee isn't set yet, but the city is working within a range.
The range that is being considered is between $9 and $23. If it's $23, it means there's lots of exemptions.
I mean, you got to put something into the system to get something back. Everything has increased in New York, but the pay. So people are struggling trying to figure out where this money's coming from.
If you're a resident of the CBD and you make under $60,000 a year, you'll get a subsidy. People with disabilities won't pay. You know, there's an adjustment, you know, taking a look at what really is happening in the city today.
The MTA received thousands of requests for exemptions from the toll, including from artists, students, civil servants, NYPD, and trade unions.
Why do artists? What the hell? Why are they at the top of the list and why do they deserve an exemption? Listen, if you're going to get an exemption, I understand. First of all, I think that it's highway robbery in a general sense because they just really finessing y'all and getting more money into their pockets in order to continue to do what they want to do. Okay, cool. If you're going to even institute this system, which I largely disagree with in the first place, because I think that you need to learn how to. The fundamental problem that I have with these government systems, and when they start to levy these things and they start to implement it in order to make more money and to tax y'all and overtax y'all, my fundamental problem is that you're going to be generating more revenue, but you haven't learned how to manage what you already have. I think that the government should be smaller, not larger. You should not continue to leverage people in the tax system in order to create a bloated system to have overmanagement and mismanagement of the funds that you already have. We do not have a good enough oversight. We do not have good enough oversight of how people are managing their budgets on a local level all the way up into a national level. And so as a result, you can't just overtax people. You have to learn how to make it more conducive for people that already live there. And what do you mean artists? What the hell is an artist? Do Jay-Z get a pass? Beyonce get a pass when they go and visit New York? Noriega? Capone and Noriega? Mobb Deep? I'm an artist. Erykah Badu, she get a pass? Lil Wayne when they come to the city? What the hell is an artist and why do they deserve an exemption? Why do trade unions deserve an exemption? I don't understand why the trade unions deserve an extension. I can understand the cops.
There's no guarantee these requests will be granted.
If you're a low-income driver and you're on the outer fringes of the outer boroughs, how do you get to the city if you're not going to drive anymore? You're going to put another perhaps 2 hours.
You got to go and you got to drive. Let me tell you what you do. You have to go and use public transportation, but you're going to have to drive over into wherever the closest space to your public transportation is, and you're going to have to use that in order to get into the city. Otherwise, you're going to be paying just like everybody else. Listen, I am against for there to be a tiered system when it comes to taxing people. They need to participate just like everybody else or do not implement the system and find another solution. You cannot overtax me because I'm more successful than you in ways that don't even relate to our income, as far as using the same city, same services, the same infrastructure. So now I got to pay more than you because you on the fringes? How does it? That's not, listen, y'all keep talking about fair, but that's not fair. Y'all keep talking about fair, but that's not fair. You can't sit here and say, well, Anton, you got to pay more, or Black Beauty, you got to pay more, but this person has to pay less because they didn't make good decisions in their life. What the fuck? What are you talking about? So now everybody got to re-enroll in order to be able to get back and forth to New York?
I was on that commute.
It's not popular to tax ourselves. And when there are many layers of decision making in order to tax ourselves, that's many layers of opportunity for someone to say, hey, no, let's not do this.
The money raised from this zone may bring billions of new dollars worth of investment into an aging MTA system.
So they're not able to get people to pay for riding the subway and public transportation today. And so their solution is not to fix what they already have implemented. Their solution is to continue to build upon it and then levy even more fees and taxes on you that then prevent you from being able to do what you want to do or visit New York or live within the city at all. Is that what we're doing? Think about it for a minute. They can't get people because over in Japan, they don't have that problem. Why are we not going and studying other places? I seen nobody skipping in order to use the subway the wrong way over in Japan. They got public transport system. They got local subways. It's clean. Everybody is paying. Everybody go up to the suite, use their Suica card. They go over there and they take care of business. Everybody is largely, from what I seen, because I sat there and I watched it and I recorded it and I documented it, everybody over in Japan is able to actually manage this thing effectively to where their cities are not overly congested and they don't have a congestion tax or toll that comes along with participating in the city. But we can't get it right over in New York. We can't get it right over in New York. You can't get public transportation right in New York. But they're doing it in other places effectively. No crime, no graffiti, no problems, no rats, none of that. But we can't get it. So we're not going to fix what we already got. We're just going to levy more taxes and create even more infrastructure for people. And then we're going to say, well, we're going to use it in order to continue to invest back into the system. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They said the same thing when it came to playing the lottery as far as continuing to invest in schools. Oh, our schools are going to be great now because we're going to take all of the profits from the lottery and invest it back into the school system. They didn't do that. What they did was they took the money that they was allocating for the school system and they replaced it. So the budgets didn't increase. They didn't invest any more money into the school system. They just used it as leverage in order to move some money around and they made some magic happen. Come on, man.
Massive system that has been underinvested for decades.
It's a very old system, in some cases over 100 years old. And so it really requires a lot of investment just to keep what we have operating.
80% of the cash raised from this toll goes toward the city's subways and buses.
Signals is actually one of the biggest investments we can make to ensure.
When I tell you that it's going to be some funny money and some funny businesses once this get implemented and it gets swept under the rug and you ain't going to have no oversight and people ain't going to be able to account for what's going on, guarantee it. Mark my words. I always make these predictions, but I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to throw it in y'all face.
That we can run more trains more quickly.
10% goes to the Long Island Railroad and the final 10% to the Metro North.
I think we've been very thoughtful about where those investments will occur.
MTA is building 4 new Metro North stations in the Bronx that will allow people to access Metro North more easily.
It's going to save people tons of time. New York has the most riders and the slowest buses, and it's a huge shame.
Customers say they would be encouraged to ride more often if wait times improved, and if there were fewer people behaving erratically on trains, according to an MTA survey.
Our customers are saying, we want faster service, we want more reliable service. You know, we have signals that were installed literally in the 1950s that are still sort of, working, thank goodness, but that won't be forever. It requires investment.
Still, the new toll doesn't cover all of the MTA's needs. Officials say the system needs about $54 billion for new capital assets.
They need another $54 billion. They need another $54 billion. What is the New York City budget? Let me see what the budget is in New York City. NY budget. Google is your friend. New York City budget. What is the budget for New York City? Wow. That is crazy. Hold on, wait. New York City budget, it can't be that big. Y'all can't be spending that amount of money in New York. No way that y'all spending this amount of money in New York. 2023 budget. I heard y'all was over budget too. Wow. No way that y'all spending this amount of money. I don't believe this. This can't be right. Almost $240 billion? No way. Hold on, let me see something. $240 billion in a budget? That can't be right. That cannot be right. Y'all do not have that type of budget in New York. Do y'all really? Good grief. All funds, 221, and that's in the millions. Here, let me share it with you. I know y'all think that I'm capping, but I'm trying to tell you that this is a real thing. This is crazy. No way that this is real. Hold on. Chicago, Jada, 23. I didn't know that y'all was working with that type of capital over here. $240 billion in a budget? Hold on, let me share this with you guys. No way that y'all got to spend this amount of money. This is all funds, general funds, state operating funds, state funds, 221, basically 221,000 million, which is $221 billion or $232 billion. Is this right? Projected at $225 billion, which represents an increase of $1.6 billion over the executive, a decrease of $1.7 billion for 2023-2024. Federal, good grief. Wow. That's crazy. That's insane. I didn't know that y'all was working with that type of money over there in New York. Jeez. Now one of y'all get taxed so high. Sheesh. New York over there getting killed. Oh my God. That's insane. Well, now y'all getting taxed again to drive into New York City. Now y'all getting taxed again to drive into the city. We need smaller government. Honestly, we need smaller government. We need to be making adjustments and have smaller government, and for them to have that type of money to be able to control is out of control. That is absolutely out of control. Let me read some of these super chats and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Let's see. Enforcer 2K9 says, I told you the internet is the Matrix, Anton. Justin K says, Big Dog, put me on your calendar. I sent you a plot for the neighborhood I'm building to rent out. I'm about to move forward. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Absolutely. Rita. Justin K needs to go on the wait a minute. Give me a second. Hey, I'm on a live stream. Justin K has had a call with me before. We need to put him on a list because I need to go and see what he's putting together as far as the plot The plot for the neighborhood that he's built. He about to build out a bunch of tiny homes.
Ooh, okay. Ask him, can he send an email though, so that so I see it.
Justin, Rita says send an email so I can put you on the calendar.
Because I'm out right now and I don't want to forget.
What is this text message you just sent me? You said I got to pay how much? $9,725. Yes. What is she saying about the other one that may come available?
She said she put us at the top of the list and that it might become available, but she'll let us know.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
By the end of the week?
Oh, she didn't say specifically when. She just said it might become available.
No. You said I got to pay that $10,000 for the first month within a week. When is the move-in date?
Within a week. She didn't say. She basically said it was up to us. I think we had originally told her, what did we say, April? I thought March or April. I thought we said.
Well, it really don't matter because we're not getting rid of the other place that we stay in.
Okay. Well.
All right, I'll talk to you in a minute.
Alrighty, love you. Bye.
All right, Justin said he's sending an email now.
Okay.
All right, bye. All right, shout out to you, Justin. Rita says she got you. Shout out to Justin. I've had a call with him before, my dog. I know him in real life. J-Dub said, hey, Justin, I might have to fly down there and see what you're working on, bro. Like, I need to see it in person, too. J-Dub says, this is to help fund a transit system in New York. This is the congestive pricing plan. They do this in London, I believe. I don't think so. I don't think that they're managing the funds effectively. Of course, they're going to tell you that this is what they're doing, but very rarely. Hey. And also, let me say this. Of course, they saying that, but I don't think that that's what they're going to use the money for, and I don't think that long-term they're going to be able to manage it effectively. You see how I'm able to call and have a conversation about business, taking care of all of that or whatever, so on and so forth? Jada can't do that. Will can't call Jada and do that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Hold on, I got y'all. Alex21 in the building. Shout out to Brian. Alex says, those NY cameras remind me of China control. Everything gonna have a camera. I don't mind the cameras as much because I need the criminals to get caught. AL says, plus all the tolls on the expressways, you're about to pay $100 to $150 a day to get to work, plus parking. That is wild. I agree. I like Boston's transportation system. They got a good system. I'm a student. How do I get on the exemption list? You ain't hanging out in New York like that. Counselor Mr. G says, I'm outside the country, so mornings, your time work better for me. It shouldn't take long. Can you drop the link now? Or if not, I'll hit you on the Patreon. I can't. I got to go. I got to go and take care of the business. Why not? Let me drop the link. Let's see what you got to say. This is for Counselor Mr. G. Said he's outside of the country. Counselor Mr. G. I'll drop the link for you right now. This is a live show. Why not? Let me read a couple more super chats. You got a call within the next couple of minutes, big dog. Brock with the Pass of Love offering. I appreciate you. And then also on top of that, my dog Justin K said he's sending an email right now. I'm going to have to fly out to you and see what you got going on. I love Boston. Boston is one of my favorite cities to visit. I'm gonna be in Boston when I go on tour. So let's see what we got going on in the street. So I'm gonna wait for you, Counselor. All right, so outside of that, you see how I was able to make that phone call? See how I was able to get her on the phone and she was all giddy and giggly and taking care of business and out taking care of my stuff and making sure that she get contracts secure and all of this other type of stuff. Shout out to Mark Rush. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. You see how I was able to do that? Will can't do that with Jada. Will can't get Jada on the phone like that. He can't do it. Will can't get Jada on the phone like that. She ain't going to be all giggly. She might not even answer the phone call. She might be busy. She might be busy. Mark Rush says, another awesome show. Can you suggest any stocks? I'm not going to say that I'm going to suggest a stock. I'm going to give you some of my plays or some of the things that I'm looking at or some of the things that I'm thinking about, and I'll try to do it really quickly. I'm waiting on my dog Counselor to call in, so for him to be able to cam up. My biggest thing is I'm paying attention to the semiconductor chip war that's happening between the U.S. and China. And then I'm also paying attention to one of my favorite stocks right now is Meta. I love Meta. I think that they're going to be an alternative for the upcoming Vision Pros by Apple. I think that they are still investing heavily into the metaverse, which is still going to come. I was watching their presentation, or Mark Zuckerberg's presentation, and seeing what they were doing from a technology perspective. I think that Facebook is still booming. I think that they're pivoting. I like what's going on with Instagram. I think that Mark Zuckerberg is right-sizing a company as far as having the right employee size and making it more nimble instead of having a bloated company with all of these engineers that's not necessarily doing anything. I think that they're allocating their resources. They've been profitable for a long time. And people are so busy paying attention to Apple that they're not paying attention to Meta. Meta has been killing it for the last couple of years. They've been running it up. They've been having great success. They are up significantly this year. And I think that for the years to come, especially as far as an alternative to the Vision Pro, you need a cheaper alternative. I seen what their presentation was with the Ray-Bans. I'm getting a pair. And so I really like Meta. And then from a semiconductor chip perspective, I personally like, and I'm not telling you what to invest in, I'm telling you what I'm invested in. I've been riding with, and I've been really successful with regard to ASML. ASML is the company that makes the machines that then builds the semiconductor chips that all of these plants are invested in the United States of America. And with the chip war heating up here in the United States of America and abroad, I believe that ASML is going to be poised to be even more successful as a result of it. So that is my long-term play. I like ASML, I like Meta, and I plan on being invested in these companies for the next 10 to 15 years. So those are the companies that I like a lot. I like ASML, and I really like Meta. And then you got your other blue chip stocks that are doing really, really well, and things that I am invested in. And then there's some other dark horses that I love. But for those two specifically are the ones that I'm really, really paying attention to. I'm immersed in it. And then there's some other ones that's more notable, but it's a different reason as to why I'm invested in them. So those are the main companies that I'm invested in. So ASML, Meta, I've been increasing my position in it. And as long as this war from the UAW continues to rage on with regard to the big three, I've been paying attention to Tesla, increasing my position in Tesla more. And also take a look at it. I'm not telling you to invest in it. But take a look at Rivian. Take a look at Rivian. Rivian is a company that often at times flies under the radar. It is a newer company as far as within the electric space. It is ran by J.R. Scarange, who is, I believe, an MIT graduate. They are here in Michigan, and they've been pretty successful with regard to launching the Rivian truck and series, and they have some more products coming out. And then I think that they're also going to be beneficiaries of what's going on with the electrification of vehicles, the new infrastructure plan that's being implemented by the Biden administration. And then along with that, with the UAW, they are not a unionized shop, so they are able to leverage not as much as Tesla, and they're not as popular as Tesla, but I think that they're going to be able to leverage what's going on with the UAW in order to continue to be more successful also. So look at Rivian. I'm not telling you what to invest in. Just look at Rivian, look at ASML, and then I like Meta. So I'm waiting on you, fam. I'm waiting on you. I dropped the link in the chat for you. I can't wait too much longer because I got to go and take care of some business. So those are my stock picks. If y'all want me to do a daily or a weekly stock pick as far as breaking down a specific company, I can do that. And y'all got to remember that Rivian is a newer company. It's not about profitability, okay? So when we're talking about investment in the company, they're still a startup. They're in the startup phase. In the same way that Tesla was in the startup phase very early in their inception as a company, it's just that Tesla has a rock star of a CEO as far as the visibility and being able to market themselves a little bit differently. So it's not necessarily as far as Rivian about being profitable immediately. It's also about driving down a cost, who the CEO is, the foundation of the company as far as how it is that they got it set up, the infrastructure, whether or not they're going to be unionized, what is the margins as far as per vehicle that they're making, and then how they're going to continue to invest going forward as far as continuing to grow the company. So don't look at it just because it is not necessarily profitable. You don't have to cam up, fam. Just go ahead and hit the link. Don't look at it just because it may or may not necessarily be profitable right away. because a lot of it is investment and a lot of it is investor sentiment that then allows for them to continue to generate more money, that allows for them to invest in the infrastructure and also growing a company. So Rivian is one of my companies that I'm really researching and paying attention to. I like Rivian a lot. I like their CEO. I like their management structure. I like how they're managing their resources. I like how they market themselves. I like how they're a truck company instead of being an all everything company and trying to make cars and stuff too. So, yep, I like Rivian. So Rivian is a great company. You do not have to cam up. I'm just waiting on you to call because we got to get going. I got stuff I got to do. I got meetings. I got a lot of stuff to tap into, big dog. Come on, counselor. All right, here we go. Give me a second. All right, counselor, what's going on, big dog?
How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, where you at, big dog?
All right now, man, I'm in Asia, dog.
You in Asia? Shout out to Asia.
Yeah.
You over
Check
there? You
it,
traveling
man.
for business, pleasure, or is that your permanent residence?
I'm a little of both, but right now I'm doing some for some business. But actually, yeah. Well, check this out. Hold on. I'm getting some feedback. Hold on 1 minute.
I don't have no feedback on my end.
No, I had to. All right, I had to mute that part. Can you still hear me?
I can.
All right, great. Yo, first of all, I gotta preface this, man. I rock with you, so I'm not coming on no beef type stuff. So I just want to make that clear. And I like your advice. That's why I joined your Patreon. I've gave you super chats and all that. I've been a licensed financial advisor for about 20 years. I worked in the financial industry. I don't know what your background is as far as financial, but I do rock with what you say because a lot of people, they give advice, it's not as nuanced as what you do. So I don't co-sign a lot of people because as someone who knows the industry, who has the certifications and things that I have, it's to me, you do give sound advice. I don't agree with everything, but you do give sound advice. So I want to salute you for that. Now the issue that I have, bro, is that you've been going in on the shy and I gotta I gotta represent because see you can't fool me, bro. See you can't fool me, bro. See I'm originally from the Chi. I'm born and raised in the Chi, right?
You must be a Jordan fan, but okay, all right.
No, okay, well we gonna get into it real quick. I mean, I got I know you pressed for time, but we gonna get into it real quick.
No, let's kick it. Let's kick it.
See, you can't fool me, right?
Okay, go ahead.
See, we both from the Midwest. We know that Chicago and Detroit has had a long history of rivalry, right? See, this vitriol that you have, you can run this game on these people, but I know you have still not gotten over the 96 Bulls. You got a problem with the fact that Chicago got better pizza than Detroit.
No, y'all don't. No, you don't. No,
yes,
you don't.
Yes, we do.
No, you listen. I went to Chicago and I've documented it, and I went through all. I went to all of y'all pizza spots. Y'all don't even have as good as pizza as New York.
You crazy. All right, you know what? That's another discussion. But anyway, you claim we invented house music. You claim that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, come on, dog.
No.
Are
You started
serious?
it. You started it.
Yes,
we popularized it. We made it better.
Man, come on.
We made it better.
But you be claiming that you invented it though, but it came from Chicago. But that's a whole other thing. But I'm just pointing this stuff out because I'm leading up to something.
Okay,
but the fact of the matter is, you've been in the shadow of Chicago, and now you throwing shade. But I'm not here. I'm not here to set trip. We're not doing that. We're gonna bring facts. We're bringing receipts today.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we bringing receipts now. The first thing that I want to point out, because again, I don't mind critiques of Chicago because I will critique Chicago with the best of them. You get no argument from me when you talk about how bad it's run. Look, you get no pushback. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to kick some facts today. Now, one thing that I saw, a recent video that you did, was you were talking about, there was a guy who was in the Bucktown area, and I think he was walking in the alley or something. Somebody robbed him for his pizza. You remember that story? And then you were.
They robbed him for his what? Was he
had a
pizza?
Student? I don't know what he was, but he was walking and somebody robbed him or something, and it was in the Bucktown area of Chicago, and they did a town meeting about the the robberies and
Oh, he
things
was
that were
walking in
going
the
on.
alley. It was the daytime.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
remember.
remember that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now here's my point. They showed in the news clip that there was uh, they had a town meeting, and one of the critiques that you had in that particular meeting where you was like, oh, see, there's no black people in that meeting. And you were complaining of the fact that there were no black people in that particular meeting. But the reason why what you said was incorrect, and the reason why I need to come and do some pushback, is because anybody who knows Chicago knows that Bucktown, that particular area, and I know it very well. I've done a lot of business over there. I know it like the back of my hand. That is not a black area. So you saying that there were no black people in that particular demographic is tantamount to saying that some town meeting being held in Inglewood or Auburn Gresham or Woodlawn, because you don't see no Chinese people in there, all of a sudden, oh, see, there ain't no Chinese people there, because the demographics, Chicago's a very segregated city. So that particular area is not a black area. So I correct black people all the time too, but I think that was an unfair, disingenuous critique about
To say that there was no black people in the meeting?
Yeah, in that particular location, because that's not a black area. That area is mostly a lot of immigrants. Like, there's a place called Ukrainian Village that's not too far from there. The community just adjacent of there is called Humboldt Park, which is mostly Puerto Rican or Latino. So it's very inaccurate to diss the good black people of Chicago for not being at a meeting that's not even in their area. So that's the problem I had.
So wait. First of all, the guy that assaulted the guy was a black man.
That's possible, because again,
No, it's not. It's not that is possible. It's real. That's a fact.
Right.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. Give me a
I'm
second.
I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about the fact that you had an issue with the fact that there were no black people in that particular meeting, which stands to reason because that's not a black area.
So this guy is a black guy first.
Right.
That's beating up on this whoever it is, this white guy, stomping him, kicking him, punching him for his pizza. That is a black man that is beating up on another guy that is not black. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the overwhelming majority of all the meetings, whether you having it in Chicago or you having it in Bucktown, the overwhelming majority of the people that's there are not black.
Right.
They're not black.
Exactly. So my point is,
even in the predominantly dominated black areas, they're not black in the meetings.
No, you have meetings just like when you have people protesting the migrant issue. You look at those meetings, there are all black people there.
No, they're not all black people. It's overwhelmingly white. It's overwhelmingly people that are not black there. Every single video that I've reviewed, you starting to see black people participate in the meetings in addition to, but overwhelmingly the people that are in these meetings are not black.
No, if you're going to a meeting that's being held in Inglewood, Auburn, Gresham, or some predominantly black area, the majority, I've been to those type of town meetings, and they will be black people. It just depends on the demographics of the location. So
what they gonna do about it? So what black people gonna do about it in those meetings?
Well,
because again, hold on, listen. Here's my biggest thing. Let me tell you what my problem with black people. It's not even that they're not in the meetings. Is that they haven't been involved in the success of their own city, especially in Chicago, for an extended period of time. They want to sit here and protest over the migrants, but they won't protest over all of the crime that's happening with all of their kids and these black people that's out here assaulting and killing and stealing and raping and pillaging their community and selling drugs in their community.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another point of contention that we have real quick.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, we're going to get to it, and I got receipts. So this is what we're going to do, and you can do this real time. How is it that every time I turn around, see, this is propaganda. Chicago stays in people's mouths with regard to crime, but when you look at the actual statistics, the actual numbers, Chicago don't even make the top 10 of most dangerous cities.
It's not
true.
This
right now.
It's not true.
Okay. No, we're going to.
And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to add the context of why you're wrong, but go ahead.
Hold on. No, okay. We're going to do this in real time. Go to Forbes.com. Well, you know what? Let me give you the article. www.forbes.com. They did, and this is only one. I got other sources. They did a top 10 of the most dangerous cities. Just look up Forbes list 2022. There's more recent ones too, but that's the one that's pretty comprehensive. You pull it up, 10 most dangerous cities in the U.S. Forbes.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Give me a second.
Go ahead.
This has got an advertisement showing up on Forbes.
All right. Yeah, you might have to get past the paywall.
$15 most dangerous cities in the U.S. Number
No,
one.
we can go. Well, hold on. Go to the top 10. We can get it. We can go right to the point. It's the top 10.
It don't have top 10. It says most dangerous, and then it got safest.
Well, if you just type in top 10 most dangerous cities, it'll give you the list.
Give me a second.
And we can read them together. And I got other sources. I see some people saying, "Oh, it's not a .gov." Well, it's cool. You can go to the BLS too.
Give me a second.
No, I'm talking to your chat now. But shout out to your chat. But we can go to BLS.gov and all that.
Give me a second.
And again, I'm not here to
No. Let's kick it. I'm with it. I like this.
No, I'm not defending the foolery that goes on because I got a lot of critiques for Chicago, but I want them to be not in bad faith. I want it to be genuine issues as opposed to a lot of the disingenuous critiques that I'm hearing, which is just not accurate. And then we're just going to set the record straight using facts.
So I 15 most. It said 15 most dangerous cities. That's the top one that showed up. When I put in top 10 most dangerous cities, this is the one that showed up.
Okay, where you at? Are you on Forbes still?
I'm on Forbes.
And okay, so you're on Forbes and you're looking at the 2022 or what?
It says oh no, it says that's a different year. Hold on 1 second. You want me to put it in 2022?
Yeah, that's the most recent one I could find with Forbes.
It's a lot of different sites. I don't see one for Forbes. Hold on. I'm looking for Forbes. I got to scroll down Google. Give me a second.
Let me send you the link. I'll drop the link in the comment. We just cut to the chase. I'm gonna put the link in your box.
I got one for 2023.
You can use that one too. Oh damn, that link too long for the chat. Hold on
1 second.
Because it should. Yeah, go ahead. Because while you doing that, I'm gonna read them. Right. I'm gonna start from the top to the bottom. You can
see, there's different lists that are from more credible sources, right? So, for example, I'm looking at this.
So Forbes is not credible?
No,
Forbes is not credible?
Forbes isn't credible because if you read the article, so let me go back to.
What do you mean it's not credible?
I'm gonna tell you why.
So did you?
If you read the article, other sites go into more detail as to what it is that they consider dangerous, right? And then the more important thing,
you splitting hairs, baby.
Give me
now
a
you
second.
splitting hairs.
Give me a second. Let me explain. I'm going to allow for you to, you know what I'm saying, say whatever it is that you want to say as a result of it. Sure. I'm looking at one that says the FBI's top 10 most dangerous cities by region. And then they say large cities, and then they say per crime, and then it's per capita, right? And the reason why this is important for us to mine this out a little bit more detail and add the context, not just by saying top 10 most dangerous cities or a survey or whatever, so on and so forth, is because a lot of times it'll say per capita, right? Or it'll say by violent crime. And the important thing to highlight with regard to that is this. If you look at a city like Detroit versus Metro Detroit, which a lot of people still consider Detroit, so it's all of the cities that's surrounding Detroit, because those are the ones that often at times drive into the city, right? Detroit technically only has 700,000, a little less than 700,000 people in it. Chicago, by contrast,
yeah, 'cause everybody got up out of there.
Hold on. Chicago, by contrast, has 2.7 million people there, right? So when you say a violent city, then they go by 1 per 1,000 residents in the city. Chicago has exponentially more crime, but when you say per capita, then you start to narrow it down a little bit differently, and they start to use FBI statistics in order to substantiate their argument, which Forbes don't do. So when you say, is Forbes a credible source? It's a credible publication, but it's not credible as it relates to the context by which we're having this conversation. When you talk about violent crime, right? If you got 2.7 million people versus 690,000 people in one particular city. Cool. And then you start to break it down and you add context to it and you say, well, this amount of crime is happening in this particular city and this amount of crime is happening in this particular city. If there's more crime in Chicago, justifiably because they have a greater population, then you also have to take into consideration where the crime is happening. Majority of the crime that's happening in Chicago is happening in the same areas. So it's more crime, but they just extrapolate it a little bit differently because they have more people to offset it, because there's a group of people or there's an area specifically where there's not a lot of crime happening. But if there's more crime happening in one particular area, that means it's a worse off place for the majority of people that are in the middle class to live. So in Detroit, you don't have those same statistics that you can then extrapolate because it's a smaller population. And in those particular areas, there may be less crime, but then at the same time, it's better ways to be able to address it because it's not all happening in that particular area. You see what I'm saying? So when we have these conversations, we got to have them in context. Chicago is not a place where you should want to raise your children. That is a fact. If you are a middle class person, and especially considering the fact that Chicago is still operating on New York prices. So if you want to raise a family and you want to find a good school, you're largely going to be relegated to the spaces where the majority of the crime is happening, which makes it bad, especially for the middle class or black people that cannot afford to truly take their children and go into another place. If you are a multi-millionaire and you live in Chicago, absolutely, you can go in Chicago. You can live in any city in the United States of America. You're going to be in the best places and you're going to be absolutely removed from what the rest of the population is doing inside of Chicago. But if you are a person that's making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 per year and you trying to move over to Chicago, you're going to be fucked up. You absolutely going to be messed up. 100%. Right. So Chicago is messed up. And just because people are referencing statistics doesn't actually showcase what's really happening within the city. The culture of the city is bad and they're not addressing it. And you got a mayor that's more focused on the migrant crisis than he is on solving for the problems that was happening way before they started busting all of these migrants up there in the first place. Chicago is horrible right now. Absolutely horrible. You can't even compare it to what's happening in Louisiana, even though Louisiana is higher on the list, or St. Louis is higher on the list, because it's such a disproportionate amount of income that's happening between the people at the top and who's relegated to the places that the crime is happening over in Chicago is 100% worse. 100% worse, because the people that's living in Louisiana that can afford to live there in the highest places because it has a smaller population and the crime is concentrated in a particular area, it makes it worse to live in the places in Chicago that you really can't afford to live in versus going over to Louisiana where it's more affordable all across the board.
All right. You mind if I respond to some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, because you said a lot there and you kind of conflated a lot of different things, but let's just get right to the point. The bottom line is it's kind of the opposite of what you said, because if you're talking about an area such as Detroit, which has a smaller population, and Chicago that has a larger population, even if you talk in terms of per capita, the smaller population, for it to even compare to a larger population with regard to crime, shows that the smaller population is worse. Because if you do have a larger population, it would stand to reason that you would have higher crime because you have a higher contingency. If you have a smaller population, you would expect for the crime to be smaller, just from the standpoint of there being a smaller population. The fact that if you look at statistics, I even got statista.com pulled up, which that's all they deal with. Chicago don't even show up on that list if you break it down per 100,000 residents. Memphis is number one, New Orleans is number two,
per 1,000 residents.
Per 100,000 residents.
Well, the FBI statistics break it down a little bit differently, but go ahead. I got you.
This is where this is from. It's all the same data.
Okay.
Chicago don't even crack that, but you know where it does? Another city in your state, Flint. Flint is number 4 of
correct
cities.
But how many residents are in Flint?
Yeah, but that's the point. If you have a smaller population, you should have lower crime.
No, it's not. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. If wait. Again, there's less crime in Flint than there is in Chicago. But if you want to go by per 1,000 residents, then yeah, as far as the per 1,000 residents, there may be more crime, right?
No, but when you mean per 100,000. You said per 1,000.
Well, I'm sorry, per 100,000 residents. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go by per capita, per 100,000 residents, then you can say, oh, okay. So if Flint had the same population as Chicago, if Flint had 2.7 million people, then the crime will be absolutely worse. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, when you extrapolate the numbers, if you have
absolutely wrong, you are 100% wrong. Because you can't. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. You got it.
No, listen. If you're comparing, if you're doing an apples to apples comparative analysis, and you have, just say you have two cities that have the same population, and just say crime makes up 10% of one and 20% of the other. If they have the same population, then obviously the one that has 20% crime is worse, right? That's an easy apples to apples comparative analysis.
Use an apples to apples comparison analysis for a city that's similar in size to Chicago.
Yeah, that's what they do when they pull up these charts. That's the reason why Chicago doesn't rank, because per capita and all the other data, Chicago doesn't even normally crack
because
the
it's
top
ranking
10.
it by large cities, and it's considering large cities to be a population that's above 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, but it's not taking into consideration populations that's exponentially more than maybe a smaller city like a Flint. If you look at Flint, right? Flint population. Flint has 80,000 residents, bro. They don't even have 100,000 people in Flint. You can't use that as a comparative tool in order to substantiate your argument as to whether or not Chicago is more violent or not than Flint, because they got 2.7 million people there.
Right. So no, we're not comparing Chicago and Flint.
No, you use Flint as an example in order to illustrate your point. That's a disingenuous argument. They don't even have 100,000 people in Flint.
No, hold on. Let me give you go to Statista.com, and you will see what they did. They just use it as a percentage. It doesn't matter how many people they're doing it based on the percentage of the crime. No, go to Statista.com right now, because I didn't put.
Well, I don't have the time. I just wanted to actually have this conversation with you. But go ahead. We can just continue the conversation. I'm gonna take take what you say at face value, and we're just gonna take your word for it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, but here's the thing though. And we can kind of move on to the next thing. I don't want to hold you because I know you got to go, but we can. It's a good discussion, so we can maybe.
No. I'm with it. I like this type of discussion.
Okay, but check this out. Now, here's another issue that I have, and like I said, this is all in good fun. I like you, man. I rock with you. We both Midwesterners.
No, I like this. This is great. That's right.
We know how it is, but check this out. Now, the other problem here is that when you start talking about the culture, for example, of Chicago. When you start talking about, oh, it's so dangerous and blah, blah, blah. Listen, Chicago is just like a lot of American cities. There's good parts, there's bad parts. But when you try to identify the bad elements of a city just based on its criminal element, then that's being very disingenuous. That's just like saying that the Italians and their culture is relegated to the La Costa Nostra, and just because the Gambinos and the Bonanos and the Genoveses, they're at war, then all of a sudden, oh, let's look at those Italians, they're animals. Because the GDs and the BDs are having turf war, then all of a sudden that becomes the definition of Chicago culture, when anybody who's from Chicago knows that there's elements, there's pockets. Over here, it's bad. Even in Inglewood or places like Auburn Gresham, which are, quote, bad neighborhoods, there are beautiful homes there, great people, great culture, and then a few blocks over, you may have some gangs warring over turf. We don't do that with any other city.
We do. We do it with every other city.
No, back when LA had the Crips and the Bloods gangs going on, no one was regulating Los Angeles.
Yes, we do. I bring everybody to the front of the congregation. I talk about Denver.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about how it's
all I can go by is what I talk about.
No, I'm not making this personal to you. I'm saying that people, when they define the value of a city, it's normally not regulated to simply what the gangbangers are doing. Just like when the Crips and the Bloods were at war, no one said, oh, don't go to LA because the Crips and the Bloods. When Big Meech and all them and BMF and the young boys were doing what they was doing in Detroit, you still were there, and you wouldn't gonna let people define Detroit just based on what
that's
BMF
exactly that's exactly what I did. And I highlighted the bad more than the good, because it was more bad than good, which is what I based the majority of what the foundation of me starting a YouTube platform on my other channel, which is the original channel, was based off of me doing urban exploration and highlighting what the bad was in Detroit. I brought my city to the front. Hold on, wait. Let's be clear. I brought my city to the front of the congregation first. And I highlighted all of the abandoned buildings and all of the abandoned structures and the Pontiac Silverdome and this building and that building and what was going on over there at the Chrysler plant and all of that. And so I highlighted and brought to the front of the congregation what was going on over in Detroit and what I wanted to see change, and that I was unwilling to move in order to make sure that I participated in the greatness, because I knew that my city was going to come up. Considering all of the changes that we was making, it was just going to take some time in order for it to be implemented. So yes, we do. We bring to the front of the congregation all of the bad. We showcase it. We highlight it. As a matter of fact, Detroit was the poster child, and people were coming here with misinformation just to highlight some of the stuff that they thought was bad. And now that it's other cities and we on the upswing, now that it's Kensington Avenue, now that it's Chicago's turn, now that it's Oakland, now that it's San Francisco, now that it's LA, now that it's Hollywood, now that it's what's going over in Atlanta and Houston and all of these other things, people are saying, no, don't use us as an example. No, we're going to bring that shit to the front of the congregation the same way that we did with my own city. Why wouldn't we?
Well, I'm not saying you can't talk about the bad that's going on there, but if you just look at the disproportionate amount of attention that Chicago gets, and I'm not defending the foolery that goes on there. Like I said, I've still got investments there and everything, but I technically don't even live in America. So if I was from the D, I wouldn't be there. If I was from Philly, I probably wouldn't live there. I got a house overseas. But the point is, I still got people I love there. For that matter, I got people in Detroit. One of my favorite uncles, rest in peace, is living in Detroit. I remember being a kid, we used to go up there and visit them. So I'm not attacking Detroit. I'm just saying we need balance. And I see, just like
no, we don't need balance. We don't need balance.
We need
we don't.
No, we need. No, hold on.
We need accountability.
Yeah, we need that. We definitely need accountability.
We need 95% accountability, 5% balance.
Right. No, but check this out. We need proportionate. If we're going to report on something, why don't we bring all these other cities to the congregation equally that are more dangerous? Yeah, but I'm just saying, it just seems like there's a disproportionate amount of attention going to Chicago when the numbers don't justify it. That's the point.
No, because it's not just the numbers. Let me tell you why.
I'm
why
from
Chicago.
There, dude. No, I'm from there. I'm telling you.
You're not there now.
But look, I grew up there. I know.
Okay, when the last time you was in Chicago? When the last time you was in Chicago?
A few years
ago. When the last time you lived in Chicago?
Well, I still got property there, but I haven't lived there in about.
When the last time you lived in Chicago?
About 10 years.
So you haven't been to Chicago in 10 years?
No, I've been there since then, but I'm just saying I have.
No. I'm talking about living. There. You have not been there in 10 years.
But I lived there for most of my life, though.
You have not lived in Chicago. Listen, Detroit is completely different 10 years ago than it is today. It is a completely different city than it was 10 years ago. You have not been there for 10 years, correct?
No. You misheard me. I said I have not lived there, but I still have property.
Okay, you haven't lived there.
Just a few years ago, I was there.
You haven't lived there in 10 years, correct?
No, I've been there since then, but I haven't physically
lived there. When is the last time you lived in Chicago? You slept there. You seen when the ambulances came. You stayed there for over 6 months straight. When is the last time you actually lived in Chicago?
Like I said, for that, I would say that's been about 10 years. But as far as being there, it's just a few years ago.
Hold on. Okay, so you haven't lived there in 10 years. What we talking about now is the state of the culture and the trajectory by which the city is, and the trajectory that the city is headed towards. Okay. You have 120. Hold on. You got 120,000 migrants. 120,000 migrants that has came into the city in less than a year. You are at a 600 million plus budget deficit, which over 500 million of it happened within the last 6 months. You have a mayor that has openly said that he's tripling down on continuing to add migrants into the city. You have crime that is continuing to explode in the city. Us having a conversation about the state of what is happening with your elected officials in a city that you haven't lived in 10 years, I think that causes for and that warrants criticism. You don't think so?
See, again, you're conflating two different things. I agree with you. I think it's going to shit. That's one of the reasons why I saw it coming. I left under Rahm Emanuel. I didn't even stay there for Lori Lightfoot to get in there. I haven't rocked with the Chicago mayor since Harold Washington. So I'm not. You get no argument from me in terms of the direction of the city with regard to politics. We're not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the amount of disproportionate bad press that's coming when there are other comparable cities that are just as bad, if not worse. But somehow, some way, Chicago stands at the top of the congregation when there are other cities that are worse. That's the only point I'm making. I'm not defending the foolery that goes on there. I agree with you 100%. I think that mayor, Brandon Johnson, is an idiot. I don't agree with his policies. I don't agree with none of that shit. I'm not defending that.
Let me ask you a question. Actually, I want to ask you two questions. Actually, I want to ask you three questions. The first question is, why did you move away from Chicago?
Well, it's like I said, first of all, I put a lot of investment in Chicago. I was a property owner for a long time, grew up there. I love the city, but it just wasn't conducive to what I felt I wanted in terms of my life.
Wait, so conducive in what way?
Conducive in terms of quality of life, in terms of taxes, in terms of just everything, just doing business there. Because I saw where the direction of the city was going.
So
but again,
wait. Hold on. Stop. So over 10 years ago, you saw the direction of the city and you got up out of there, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
When you moving back?
Well, to be honest, I don't want to live in America. So that's a whole different issue. So again,
listen, you are not answering the question. When are you moving back? If you're not moving back, if you plan to move back, when are you moving back to Chicago?
I don't have any plans to move back. But that's not.
Let me ask you another question. Every person that I've talked to that has ever defended Chicago is not living in Chicago. They're not even living close to Chicago. Why is that?
Because you're conflating two different issues. It's just like if I lived out. Look, if somebody was criticizing America in a way that I felt was unfair, I would still defend that, even though I don't live in America.
I think that you have the right to be able to say whatever you want to say, and I respect
it's just
you.
Opinion.
And I respect you. 100%. I respect you. What I'm asking is, why is everybody that's defending Chicago actually moved away from Chicago?
Well, it's just like anything else. You vote with your feet. If you don't like the way the situation is going, that doesn't mean that you still don't love a place or that you don't rep it. It's just you don't like the direction that it's going in. That has nothing to do with
Chicago is a former hoe for the streets that you used to bust down. You still got love for. You just don't want her in your household no more, right?
No, I'm saying that Chicago, just like any other place, if it doesn't give you the lifestyle that you want, then you leave. But it has nothing to do with the fact that if there's a disingenuous argument, because you notice I'm not talking to you with regard to your critiques of what's going on with the migrant crisis, Brandon Johnson, or any of that. We're not dealing with that. I'm just talking about.
You haven't been there in 10 years. Listen. You know what the most problematic thing. You know what the most problematic thing? You know what the most
I have been there. Hold on. You keep saying I haven't been there in 10 years.
When I say been there, I'm meaning living there as a resident.
Well, say that then. No.
Okay, you haven't lived there. My apologies. I described it wrong. You haven't lived there in 10 years.
But
one of the biggest problems, even when Detroit was at its worst, when it filed for bankruptcy, for example, one of my biggest critiques or one of the biggest problems that I have was that people really didn't understand what was going on in Detroit. It wasn't as bad as people thought that it was. It was pockets, it was mismanagement of funds, there was a lot of things going on, but it was still a lot of building and gentrification and changes in Midtown and downtown and Corktown and all of these places. And so when people would come here, they would only go to the places that was bad, similar to what you was describing earlier in this conversation. But they didn't really go to all of the places in order to fully understand the culture, right? And I say that because it's easy for you to cite what Forbes is saying as far as some list that they put together, in my opinion, which is out of context, instead of actually experiencing the culture of what it is that's really happening in Chicago. And everybody that I know that is in Chicago is saying, man, it's fucked up over here. But the people that's not there and haven't been there as far as living there for the last 10 years is on the defense of it, saying that, well, Chicago is not as bad as everybody else. I don't want to understand why we getting bad press. You didn't even want to live there. You moved away because it was, in your words, not conducive to where it is that you wanted to go in your lifestyle. So you left, but you're expecting us to report positive things or to report or spend more time on what the statistics are saying versus what the culture is displaying to us. And so I'm going to spend my time focused on every single city that is not doing things that's in the best interest of the people, including the Americans or whoever it is that's living there. And if Chicago just so happened to be at the front of the congregation, we're going to give them that work. And you should not have any objection to it because you have no vested interest in seeing Chicago become any better.
No, that's wrong. So let me just address what you said. Now, truth be told, if I was from Detroit, I would have left there. If I was from Philly, I would have left there. I'm not saying what I'm saying to be a hypocrite or to say that someone who is from there shouldn't leave. You've even said that if you were from Chicago, you probably would have left. But that has nothing to do with me wanting there to be a fair and balanced and accurate critique of the city. I don't mind what you say about Chicago as long as it's accurate, predicated on facts. That's the issue that I have.
All I do is bring them to the front of the congregation and I say, Chicago is a piece of shit.
Yeah, but check this out though. What sense would it make for me to say, well, if I don't live in the city or if I don't live in the country, I'm still a citizen. My passport still says America. I can't have an opinion about it. And if I see somebody, whether it's America or anywhere, if it's being misrepresented in such a way that I know factually it just doesn't add up. If I met a foreigner, and sometimes that does happen, where I'll meet somebody who's never been to America, they would say, "Oh, you guys are killing everybody there." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Yeah, America has violence, but you can go there and there's safe places. They're dangerous places. Even though I'm technically
nobody is stopping you
not
from
in
having
America.
an opinion.
Hold on, can I finish my
I'm
point?
sorry, go ahead.
So it's the same thing.
I'm gonna let you get the
Just
last
because-
word too. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. But it's just like if I meet a foreigner who's never been to America, who doesn't know America like I do, just like you don't know Chicago the way I know it, and a lot of people who are critiquing it, if I meet someone outside of the country of America and they tell me, "Oh man, I don't want to go to America because if I get off the plane, somebody's gonna shoot me." I'm like, "No, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, there are dangerous places in America, but you're not gonna get killed just by stepping off the plane." And I'll just tighten that up a little bit. But if they criticize the political system, they criticize America's foreign policy and its hypocrisy, I'll agree with them. I'll say, yeah, you're absolutely right. There are things, and that's the reason why I don't live in America, because there's things that I don't agree with in terms of how it's being run. But if someone is coming with these cartoonish misrepresentations that are not backed in sound evidence and fact, then I'm going to check that. And that's what I'm talking about. When the conversation that I'm having with you, I want to stick to the point. You're bringing in all these other elements that I actually don't disagree with. You're talking about the fact that, the politics is bad and the migrant issue and all of that. You don't get no argument from me when it comes to that. My whole point for even calling you and addressing this was the fact that it's a disproportionate amount of attention and inaccurate information that I feel is coming out about Chicago. And I'm not a cheerleader for Chicago. I don't mind it being critiqued. I'm not set tripping. Like I said, I still rock with you. This ain't personal. I'm just trying to make sure that if we're going to be critiquing a place, let's use the nuance and the details that's required to do a fair critique, as opposed to talking about, anybody from Chicago, I don't trust them, because that's literally what you said. And then you talking all this stuff, and I know some of it might be tongue in cheek, but it's just this image, because I am still from there. So even if I don't live there, when I tell people I'm from Chicago, I don't want them to associate me with the worst elements. Like I said, it's like if someone's an Italian and then someone says, "Oh, you're an Italian. Oh, you guys are mobsters." They're like, "What?" Just because the La Cosa Nostra is somewhere shooting up somewhere, or the Sicilian mafia is doing something, that don't mean all Italians are gangsters. So if I'm from Chicago, don't associate someone in the good people of Chicago with those bad elements. And here's another point. You said that I don't have a vested interest there. What do you mean? I still got investments there. I still got people I love there. My family's still there. What do you mean I don't have a vested interest in seeing Chicago do better? Of course I do. That's the reason why I want to make sure that if something comes out about it, that it's accurate as opposed to propaganda. That's the whole point I'm making. I don't care about somebody critiquing Chicago, and more than 9 times out of the 10, I'm going to agree with you. But what we're not going to do is just keep with this propaganda machine, and you're just trying to associate just because of gangbangers and drill music or whatever the hell, or what's going on in O Block, then that's supposed to be extrapolated to the whole city. I yield
All
the
right.
floor.
So okay. You said a lot there, but I'm gonna summarize it like this. I respect your opinion. I respect your thought process. I think everybody can have an opinion, but it doesn't make it a fact just because you cited something that was in Forbes, right? That doesn't
Oh, I got
add.
other sources. But we ain't got time today, so
That
I got other
doesn't.
sources.
That doesn't substantiate your argument when you're talking about the true culture, the culture of what's going on in the city, right? And what I mean by that is one thing to go over to somewhere and say, well, it's bad to live there based off of what this statistic said. It's another thing to actually go and visit there or see what's really happening within that space and to understand whether or not it's actually bad to live there, because that's really just an opinion. That's not a fact. It's an opinion. It's not a fact, because what you experience while you're there and what the residents are saying that's still there is actually more valid than whatever it is that Ford can print or Forbes can print. Here's my point. I don't believe that somebody can claim something that they're no longer in. This is just my personal opinion. I think that people can have an opinion about whatever it is that they want to have an opinion about. But if I was with this girl, right? Let's say I was with a girl and I was with her for some years and we had a good time and we had sex all the time and it was a phenomenal relationship, but then we wound up breaking up. And then I move on with my life and I'm with a whole nother girl and she move on with her life and she's with a whole nother guy. I'm not still claiming that hoe. I don't care nothing about what happens with her or for her. I'm not checking for her. I'm not trying to see what it is that's going on in her life. And I have that same perspective towards everything. I don't go back to see what happened in my old job. I don't go back to see what's happening in that particular place or see what's happening with this person. I don't live in the past. I don't even go to reunions for my high school, because the past is the past and I'm so focused on what I'm currently immersed in because I have a vested interest in it because I'm actually a member of that community. So when people tell me that they're from someplace, that just kind of sounds like a rapper when they claiming something, but it's not necessarily a reflection of what their lifestyle is at that particular time. I still think that Chicago is a piece of shit. I think that it's ran like a piece of shit. I don't think that the people that's in Chicago are a piece of shit, because I think that you have to look at them on an individual level. But I don't understand how first in a culture we start to claim stuff that we don't necessarily be a part of just because you may have been born there. All of a sudden that becomes you. I don't think that you have any real vested interest in seeing Chicago become successful. And just because I think you feel a certain type of way when people criticize it, the same way that somebody may feel a certain type of way when somebody criticizes their ex, but I don't give a fuck about that bitch. She can go on and do whatever. I'll let you finish. She can go on and do whatever it is that she want to do. Nobody is going to stop me or whatever they call the propaganda machine is from bringing Chicago to the front of the congregation. Y'all fucked up. Y'all culture is fucked up. You
can say the same thing about Detroit, though.
You embrace rap. But here's the difference. I'm able to be on the ground floor to change the things that I want to see changed inside of my city because I'm actually here. And so I'm not stopping anybody from having an opinion about Detroit, but I'm also on the ground floor changing and participating in the things that I want to see happen in the city. And when I say I'm from here, that means I am here. My office is here. I'm live streaming from Detroit right now, from the heart of the city right now. I'm still with my bitch right now. Detroit is my bitch and I'm still with her. And so I'm going to have a more of a vested interest of what you say about her because I'm actually living here and I can go and live anywhere I want to live in the entire world. My point is this: the culture is trash. Chicago is trash. Philly is trash. And it's a lot of trash shit in a lot of these cities. And I'm not going to let up on them just because people, specifically black people, want me to treat them with kid gloves. Fuck their city. Fuck them. Fuck their mayors. Fuck their policies. Fuck they gangs. Fuck them selling drugs and all of these people that's bad for the community. If you want to change a culture, if you want to change somebody, shame them motherfuckers and force them to do better and show you something differently. Otherwise, we not gonna report on the stuff that's all nice and frothy and everything like that when everything is fucked up and people are suffering. I'm gonna let you have the last word. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, you got me all wrong, bro. I'm not defending the fuckery and the foolery.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I don't see. Here's the thing: you're framing this. I'm gonna show you why this is a bad comparison.
Somebody,
You're framing
hold
it
on,
like,
1 second. Hold on, I'm gonna let you rock out. Let me address this one comment real quick.
all right, go ahead. And I'm not in my feelings, by the way.
Vern said, Anton, you are not. Your residence is on 8 Mile, so your local vote impacts where you live, not heavily dangerous parts. Cool. Watch this. Hey, I'm on a live stream. I got a quick question for you.
What's that, babe?
The residence that I'm just bought, that I'm moving into, literally within the next couple of months, where exactly is it located? What city?
Detroit.
I'm sorry, the residence that I'm moving into, I'm going to be paying more taxes. I'm going to be paying Detroit taxes because Detroit have a city tax, all of that. What residence? Where is it located?
In Detroit.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
All right, bye. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to yield the floor to you. You got the last word, and then we're going to wrap this up.
All right, cool. Now, so here's the issue. I don't have a problem. I'm not emotional about it. I'm passionate about it, but it's no emotion. I don't care if somebody's criticizing Chicago. Hell, you can look at my channel. I go in on Chicago, people there. Look, no problem. I go in on black people, all of that. But just like when someone, if a racist person is criticizing black people, for example, I'm not going to rock with that if they're saying something that's inaccurate. But if I'm talking to somebody and they have an honest critique about black people, for example, I would agree with it. But if they start using stereotypes and things that aren't true, then I'm going to defend black people, even though I go in and I criticize black women, black people, all of that. It's not about emotion. I deal with facts. But the reason why I disagree with your comparison with regard to saying that like you had a bitch and you left her and you can't you can't defend her anymore if you're not with her. The reason why that's a bad comparison is that we're talking about a place. We're not talking about a individual. It's just like if there's if I'm an American, just because I'm overseas, that doesn't change the fact that I can have an opinion about America. And the fact that I still have an American passport, even though I don't live there, that doesn't negate the fact that I'm from America. So what am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to defend another country if someone's saying something that's inaccurate about America? No, it's the same thing. So if we're talking about a specific place and I happen to be from Chicago, it's not that I feel like Chicago's above criticism. I got all kind of criticism from Chicago, and I know it in a very intimate way to be very nuanced in my critique. I'm not going to say things like, "Oh, it's just a piece of shit," and the people there. Da, da. I'm not going to talk like that because I understand that it's more nuanced than that. That's the issue. It's the hyperbole that I have a problem with, not the fact that you're criticizing it. As long as what you're saying is based in sound facts, I have no problem with it. I will agree with you 100%. But I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, well, yeah, it's just a piece of shit and there's nothing good there. No, that would be a lie because I know it on a more intimate level. And in the fact that I'm not currently there,
you ain't lived there in 10 years. What you talking about?
What?
You don't know the current Chicago? Man, your
Can I
bitch
finish
been
my
graduated. Your bitch graduated. No, hold on, bro.
I thought I got the last word.
You do, but I'm just gonna say this. In 10 years.
No, that's what's wrong with you Detroit people. You hacking just like the Pistons.
Okay,
you are
go ahead. I'm
just
gonna
like
let you get the last word.
No. See, that's why you mad because you mad at the '96 Bulls, and you I know you rock with the Pistons, and you're a hack just like them. I understand, but here's the thing though. I'm not. When we from the Midwest, you know what it is, man. But check this. But listen, man, I don't have a problem with critiques. There's no emotionalism. There's none of that. What I'm saying is, if we're going to have these type of conversations, because there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of misrepresentations. I know Chicago has its problems just like any other major city, but when you have people who don't live there, who've never lived there, I spent 40 years there. So I think I know it better than most people who are critiquing it. And I do go back there. So even though I don't technically live there, that has nothing to do with the fact that I know it intimately, or the fact that even if I was from another city, I would still have moved out because I have a problem with just most cities in America. And you've been overseas. Look how you were geeking out when you went to Tokyo. You were happy at every little thing you saw because you noticed how much different and better things were. I experienced that. I live that on a daily basis.
We got to
It's
wrap
not
it up, bro. I got to go.
Yeah, but I'm just making that point because, if you have the resources and you want to live in a place that you feel is going to give you the best lifestyle that's conducive to how you want to live, that's all it is. It doesn't mean that I can't still speak on Chicago or America as a whole. But at the end of the day, if we're gonna use these types of critiques, you can feel how you want to feel, but just have it be predicated on facts as opposed to, I know you're playing to your audience when you say certain things, so it's cool, but we just got to be more nuanced and we got to deal with things on a more factual basis instead of just saying, oh, well, this place is just a piece of shit and the people there, and there's actually good people there, hardworking, just like any other place in America. And when you stigmatize a city like that, people who are from there, it could have a negative impact. So no matter what, no matter where I'm living, I'm still from there. And when I tell
More
people where I'm
negative
from,
than the stuff that's actually going on in the city?
no, again, it could be. Look, you can criticize Chicago all day but it's just like anything else. If someone took a snapshot of your life and whatever negative things you do, and that's all they broadcast every day, we think you were a horrible person. But we wouldn't know
I've been
about the
great
good
my
that
whole
you do.
life.
But just like all of us, you got some flaws. And if anybody
Says
put a
who?
microscope,
Who got flaws?
so I guess you JC now, you're Christ, right? Okay, whatever.
Right
But
up
the
under
point
him.
is,
Right up under him.
but anyway,
God,
if someone,
Jesus, Anton from AntonDaniels.com.
I know it's that Detroit arrogance coming out. I know you just like Kwame Kilpatrick. I know.
That's my good friend.
Was
I'm about to call Kwame right now.
I know, because you guys got a lot in common. I know. But and Detroit was the first city to become bankrupt. Chicago never filed bankruptcy.
Are you deflecting or are you defending Chicago?
I
I thought you was gonna finalize your point.
Oh, okay. Okay, you don't want to hear that, but anyway.
No,
but
I'm
these
saying
are just
I thought I was giving you the last word. I said I was gonna let you give your summary.
I'm pretty much done. We can wrap it up, but I'm just pointing out some facts here because, like I said, if I critique Detroit, it's going to be predicated on facts. I'm not going to say that Detroit's just a piece of shit. I'm going to talk about what actually happened there. I'm not going to just from a distance start just lobbing all these different insults.
Are you going to mention the fact that Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons destroyed Jordan first?
We can look. That's another conversation we can have. We can talk about the Bulls and the Pistons another time, but we can get it in. But anyway, bro. Salute to you.
Well, before you
go,
because I gave you the last word. In a general sense, you could be with a woman for 40 years, and then she could be for the streets for the next 10.
But that's an individual. That's not a place, though, bro. How are you going to use that comparison?
What do you mean?
That's apples and oranges. That's not even apples and oranges. That's apples and doorknobs, man. What are you talking about?
It's worse for a city because it takes her a lot longer and it's a lot harder for her to get off the track, for her to not be for the streets.
Yeah, if you're talking about an individual whole, but we're talking about a place. So I'm not supposed to. So let me ask you a question. So I'm not supposed to.
No. Hold on. We got to wrap it up. But Chicago is Suki Hana right now. Chicago is Jada Pinkett.
Okay, but
hold on. Chicago is Tia Mowry. Chicago is Brittany
Renner.
Detroit
is sexy.
Nope. I'll let you say what you got to say. We got to go. But
you still.
Listen. I appreciate you. I love you,
man.
Thank you, my friend. I'm looking forward to having you back on the show.
You my Midwest brother, man. I got love for you, man. This ain't personal. We can do this again. I don't care.
All right, big dog. I love you, bro.
All right, same likewise, bro.
And Chicago is still my bitch. Oh man, listen, man, Chicago with your trash ass pizza and your horrible ass mayor. Y'all the first city. Well, y'all was one of the first cities to elect Beetlejuice. Y'all realize that y'all actually elected Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice. Lori Lightfoot. God damn it. Y'all didn't learn from our mistakes? I know we big bro. I know we over here is big bro. We went through it first so that you didn't have to go through it. We went through all of the suffering, especially right after the auto crisis and the 2008 and all of that shit, so you didn't have to go through it. And now look at y'all bitch asses. Chicago is for the streets right now. Chicago is for the streets right now. But I love her. You know why I love Chicago? You know why I love Chicago? Because I got love for my people that's in Chicago. There's still some people we got to get up out of there. But shout out to Chicago. Y'all still little bro. Remember, we kicked y'all ass first before you got to your 6 championships. Yeah? Huh? All right, let's continue. Mark Rush says, another awesome show. Can you suggest any stocks? I already did that. Shout out to you. I'm just rereading that super chat really quickly. Enos Luby says, here in London, our congestion charge is $2,100 plus a new made-up charge called the ULEZ is $17. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Somebody said the realest people come from Chicago. I know. They just don't stay there, right? Chai Auto LLC's got God bless you, Mr. Deacon Pastor Anton Daniels. Let's get it. My dog Counselor G came through and gave us that work. Says it's 2 a.m. here, so is it cool to not to cam up? Yep, we just had that conversation. Shout out to you, my friend. Got a few more to go. Greg Charlie says, is this list moving for the calls I messaged you on Patreon and sent 2 emails? No, we got it. We got you on the list. I ain't forget you. I got you on the list. I promise you. I got my people on it. JC says Detroit won a long time ago because of Motown. No, they ain't got no Motown. They got a whole town over there. Vernon Brown says St. Louis thin pizza over New York. Oh, I don't even want to give you the bell, but I'm going to give it to you for the super chat. Aaron says just drill music made New York 10 times worse. Blame Chicago. See what we take from Chicago and it just get 10 times worse? Brypo Bree says Democrats treat voting like a marathon. Chicago's migrants are future voters that are going to vote to outvote the black voters. Already vote Democrat. And then Chicago was going to get worse as a result of it. They just brought some more Democrats in for you. Estacio Rodriguez says, I thought it was a business disagreement. No, we agree on business. We agree on getting to the money. We just disagree on the cities, the cultural reference. SL says, my God, he is in his fields for real. Messi mathematician says Chicago's crime rate and gang culture is peculiar from other cities, and to try to argue otherwise, a silly nostalgia is what keep people defending it. They just wouldn't go back there and live there. That's for sure. Lamar the Goat says Charleston, South Carolina. See our beautiful downtown and beaches. Shout out to Lamar. Aaron, another defector from Chicago, says Detroit is the second most dangerous city in the U.S. Chicago ain't on that list. We know Aaron left. We're not even going to give him the bell. And said it took a Chicago dude to make y'all relevant. Is that right? Chike Auto LLC says, bro, your new name is Anton Pinkett. See ya. I'm changing my name to Anton Pinkett Maury. Anton Pinkett. When you see my channel, the Anton Daniels channel, when you see it change to Anton Pinkett Maury, Anton Pinkett Maury, then you know what it is. Aaron has another super chat, another Chicago defector that won't live in the city. Says Anton just got washed by the OG Chicago man. And then Torrance, that has a lot of criticism for Detroit, says Detroit staying relevant off the Clark sisters. That was actually a good one. I give you that one, Torrance. All right, you got a good one off on me. But shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. It has been a longer show than I expected. But we had a lot of good fun. I might clip that up and throw that on the stream. Also, one more super chat before we get up out of there. Martin Meck says, I've never seen someone from the Chi be this way about the kids and folks being victimized in outlandish fashion. It is heartbreaking. I agree. Listen, I'll let y'all get y'all rocks off today. You know we do the call-in show on Friday, but we gave y'all a little bit of a preview. It's going to be a great show tonight. Make sure y'all tune in. I'm going to break it down from a relationship perspective about Jada Pinkett on the Anton Daniels channel. I love you. I appreciate you. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace. And thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all the greatest audience ever.